Well, good evening, everybody. It's the Cryptid Huntress. I'm Jessica Jones. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. We are going on the hunt with our good friend Arthur E.D. Testerman tonight. We're going to be talking about unspecified canine attacks all over North America. And we have some old cases that we've talked about before, but we have some new cases too. And I figured it's about time for us to talk about these unspecified canine, unspecified animal attacks. Once again, it's been a while. It's been about a year, I think, since the last time we went over some of these. And we're going to talk about packs of wild dogs and their behavior. And we're going to look into also if this is something that we should actually be worried about. And I tell y'all, don't ever live in fear. Just live in awareness over all of this, because this is an important issue. And we do talk about missing people, especially in our national parks. But we're going to get into unspecified canine attacks tonight. I hope you guys had a wonderful week, and we had a great week of shows. And if you guys missed any of those, please go back and check those out. And yeah, you can go to my website. That is thecryptidhuntress.com if you'd like to check out all my shows and check out my social media links and my shop and everything. It's all over there on my website, including my Patreon, and my shop, War Woman Goods, also is there. You can access all that through my website. So thank you guys so much for all that. Also, if you'd like to become a member of the Hunt Club, that's my special membership over here on YouTube. And you do get exclusive content over there. Try to do it up weekly. Okay, so thank you guys so much for all of your support. It means the world to me. Okay, well, let's get to our show tonight. And we do have a lot to cover tonight. And of course, I do have Eric here in the studio with me. So let me give you a rundown of exactly what we're going to be talking about tonight. Let me get the right paper here. Okay, so we are going on the hunt with Eric tonight. We're going to be talking about unspecified canine attacks across North America. We're also exploring the possibility of wild dogs actively hunting humans. Should we be concerned about attacks by packs of wild dogs in our everyday lives? And could these unspecified animals be dogmen or some type of human-animal hybrids? Of course, I do have author E.D. Testerman, a.k.a. Eric, here. You can find him over on his YouTube channel. That is The Bizarre and the Unknown, and Nighthawk High Strangeness on the weekends with their weekend morning brew. And please help me welcome to the show my good buddy, Mr. E.D. Testerman.
Hey
Eric.
Everybody. Hey, Jessica.
Hey, where's your dog at? Where's your dog?
One is at my feet. One is on his pillow, and the other one is over here somewhere.
Awesome. We always love seeing your dogs. I tell you what, I had Robbie on the show on Thursday night, and I put my dog up in the truck, and we had the windows down, and just to get her out of here so she didn't make noise. And sure enough, in the middle of the show, she blew the horn a couple times. You could hear it during the show. So I couldn't win. I tell you what, it's one thing or another. These dogs, they're going to be heard and seen no matter what. So,
yeah.
But I love it.
Well,
they make their appearance.
Boar's grown up enough now. He's getting in that. Yep, you heard me talking about you. That very protective stage. So he's been patrolling and barking and pointing at anything he doesn't think should be around his daddy.
Oh, there's your dog right there. There's one of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well,
Bruiser.
Eric, thank you so much for being here. You've already had a full day of shows. I watched you this morning with William Nighthawk. Y'all had a fantastic show. You had a couple of great guests, actually. on your show this morning, and then tonight I tuned in for a little bit on your show at the Bazaar of the Unknown, and so you got a triple header today.
Yeah, it's all right though. It keeps me from getting in trouble. I think that's what at least the lie I tell myself.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Got to stay busy. Got to stay busy. Oh man. Well, we're actually going to be talking about unspecified canine attacks tonight, and it's something that is, I want to say, it's kind of near and dear to my heart. I've been going over some of these for the past year or two. I've been tasked with some remote viewing targets of some of these attacks to find out if they were actually Dogmen attacks. But we haven't heard of a whole lot lately. But I do have about 2 or 3 new ones that I haven't covered before that we're going to go over tonight. You had one out of Missouri about 4 years ago, I think. An Amazon driver actually had something happen, and it's really odd because on the news they'll say, well, it was a suspected canine attack, but the dogs are like never figured out like which dogs they were, and the dogs that are in the environment weren't the culprits after some testing was done.
And that Amazon case is still open, so we cannot get any information on it because it's still an active case. So even though they claim the homeowner's dogs were the ones responsible, and they unalived them and done an autopsy on them, they still have the case actively open. So the whole leads up to whole is like, okay, if this is supposedly what happened, then why is it still open? That tells me there's more behind what's going on.
It does. Yeah, that's I had a guy on the show named Eric with Media Palace that came on. He had done some FOIA requests over some different attacks and some things that had happened at national parks, and he found some interesting little tidbits in there. Like some of the things were redacted, and I think they were using the excuse of HIPAA or like HIPAA violations and stuff, like where they would redact stuff. And I mean, I know there's a whole bunch of reasons they would do that. So we can't always be just suspicious, like, oh, they're hiding something like Dogman. I don't think it's usually that complicated. There's probably usually a simple answer for all that, I would think. But I don't know. I'm suspicious though.
Most of the time, so we've actually had, throughout I've lived down in this part of Missouri for it'd be 33 years now. I've lived down in this part of Missouri, and we've had multiple wild dog attacks throughout all this part of Missouri for a long time. And usually, if it is, thanks, Marlene. Usually, if it actually is dog related, the information comes out quick, and then the case is closed. But we have several of them, which is probably the reason why I can't find that one I was looking for backstage that are still open. And that's ones that come that are still open and you can't find the info. That's the ones that grab my interest because I'm going, there's a little bit more here than what you're telling us.
Yeah. Well, you and I we're kind of trained to look into things a little deeper than just surface level. And so that's why you and I both get a little suspicious of stuff like that. And we've kind of been programmed to just take the official narrative of everything, and that's what the controllers or whoever, like, they expect us just to kind of go with it. And I think for decades we have. But I don't know. I mean, I hear about and I try not to cover cases with like children. I just that really. It's really tough for me, and I do request people that give me like remote viewing targets, please don't give me anything where a child is hurt. You know what I mean? Things like that. But I have gotten targets like that. I have, of course, but there's a couple where there were children that were mauled by unspecified animals, and people are convinced it was Dogman and stuff. And those are the ones that I haven't really looked into, of course. But in my experience, a lot of the ones that were suspected to be Dogmen actually ended up being big cats, according to my remote viewing data.
Well, and that's something you have to look into. Is like we was talking about backstage. For a long time, Missouri Conservation told us we didn't have big cats here in Southwest Missouri, and we're like, you're full of crap. I literally had one in the front of my truck going down the highway just the other day. We literally catch them on our game camps. It's like, no, you don't go. We don't go. Yeah, we do. I personally have been stalked by wildcats along the river. The Niagara River. I live along the Niagara River. It's known for wildcats, dogmen, and Bigfoot. I mean, that is the three biggest things, predators known besides the wolves that travel along the Missouri or the Niagara River. So, I mean, we get into it with Missouri Conservation all the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't tell you the number of trail cam pictures that people have sent me from all over North Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, of big cats like panthers, black panthers, and we're not supposed to have those in some of these places out here. Can't be that, but it is. But they are, if they were to admit that there are big cats like that, some of these places they have to change. They have to change up everything they do, all the paperwork they have to do, and they have to make it into. I mean, they have to cordon off the area and do all sorts of stuff that they normally wouldn't have to do. They admit that there's stuff like that out there.
They're going to lose money if they know there's big cats in the area terrorizing. Because I mean, there's many conservation spots up and down along the Niagara River that people camp, fish, hike, canoe, kayak. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to lose it if people don't do it.
That's revenue. I know, right? You're right. I mean, millions of people visit these parks every year, and national parks, state parks, and so I understand absolutely. Carla says that a child was attacked by dogs in Oklahoma last week. Oh man, well I didn't come across that one this week, or maybe I did. I did find a lot of attacks by canines. I did find a lot of those, like even recent ones. But I was digging in today looking for research on ones that were unspecified canines specifically, that they aren't, they never located what dog it was. They said it looked dog-like. I mean, that's wild right there. And of course, to the general public, they would think, well, maybe it was a wolf. Maybe that's what they meant. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was like a dog hybrid or like a dog wolf or something. That's where your mind goes immediately. But see, it could have been a dog, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you think, Eric?
Firewater. Yeah, I do. I got one. Hey, Kent, thank you, man. You're awesome, dude.
People hadn't seen you without your hat, Eric. That's what it is.
I'm usually wearing it. My hair is a disaster right now. I haven't brushed it today, so
it looks good.
Yeah, it's like
your haircut.
I gotta hide it a little. But no, I mean the unspecified part it really tickles my fancy. I really, really like the unspecified part, but at the same time, they love to put a name on something regardless if that's it or not too. So I mean, I look when I'm looking in stuff like that, I'm looking for both of those aspects. Is that right there? Is it an unspecified canine, or is it something that, I mean, point in case, the incident I was talking about backstage, they blamed it on bull mastiffs. Anybody knows anything about bull mastiffs, they're not going to run in a pack. B, they're not going to run in a pack. They're going to lay down unless they have to get up. And C, they're just not going to openly, provokely attack livestock like that, especially not in the massive numbers that happen. So whenever I see those indicators put in along with the other stuff, that's when I start going, hey, we might have something here, because then they don't add up.
Yeah, that's right. And Kent, thank you for that super sticker. Says, glad to be back with y'all. Best chat out there. I agree. And thank you, Kent. We missed you, and I hope you're feeling better. Thank you for that super sticker. It's really good to have you back. Yeah. I have actually seen, so I grew up on a farm with cows. Okay. I grew up on a farm with cows. And when I was a kid, we had an issue at one point where there was let's just say my cousin's dog. My cousins had a pit bull and a sweet little dog, but the dog went after the cows. Okay. And I don't want to get into details about what happened. It was bad. Okay. But let's just say the dog would attack like the calves like the baby cows sometimes.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't have that on the farm. It kind of sucked. Okay.
Yeah.
But I have seen how vicious dogs can be. Okay. Vicious when it comes to livestock and stuff. That was a single dog, wasn't a pack. Okay.
Yeah.
But I know how vicious they can be. And honestly, when you look into, like, I did some research on dogs, like wild dogs attacking humans. And quite honestly, Eric, it is not common at all for wild dogs to attack humans. It's almost zero. Okay. I'm not going to say it's zero, but when you do some research, you look online, you can find like African dogs, like packs of African dogs. Those might attack humans.
Yeah.
But you come up here to the United States, there's not a whole lot.
No, I mean, like I was talking backstage, the only one that I can think of offhand is that one that happened in, I think it was 1987 over in Australia, where the dingo grabbed that baby out of the tent over there, at that big rock, that was technically, yes, those are wild dogs, but they're nowadays are more considered more like an American coyote than a wild dog. But technically, they're a wild dog. Dingoes are wild dogs. And that's the only one that I can think of off the top of my head that was actively attacked humans for no reason.
Oh man, well, I got some pictures. These are some African wild dogs, and I think they're on top of a gazelle or a deer or something. I don't know what that is.
That's a water buffalo.
It's a water buffalo. They look like hyenas. I mean, these are not the same as hyenas, though, are they? They look like hyenas, but they're not. Look at those ears.
No, they're different.
They got some big old ears right there. The better to hear
they're
you
technically, with. They're like the African version of a wolf, is what those are. Those wild dogs.
Okay, they're are
cool.
rather big. Here's a lion. That's how big they are next to a lion. And that lion, they were actually trying to attack the lion, and the lion bit back. Apparently, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, but those are African dogs, and so I just wanted to give kind of an example tonight of like packs of wild dogs eating. They're not eating humans in these pictures, okay? But they say they could go after humans if they're hungry, of course. But they are opportunistic scavengers and hunters. But they have an inclination towards pretty much smaller things that are smaller than humans. Like dogs like this, even in a pack, they don't typically go after humans to eat them. Okay, and they usually go after rabbits, squirrels, gazelles, and any kind of medium-sized animals. And the perception of wild dogs as human predators often stems from misinterpretations of their behavior, and they're not known for that. Okay, to go after humans, but yet we're getting all these reports, Eric, out of the United States over North America that we're including Canada. Okay, North America. There's like 2 cases that I came across of possible packs of wild dogs attacking humans, even up in Canada.
Yeah. Well, your most common dog attacks on humans is going to be a domesticated dog. If you actually look at all the attacks upon humans, 99% of them are domesticated dogs. I mean, that's just the truth behind it. I mean, numbers are what they are. So the fact that these wild dogs, you found 2 cases you said? I mean, that's minor, but I mean, it shows it happens.
Exactly. Speaking of 2 cases of that on Jimtown Road, I got Harley Owens up in here in the chat tonight. What's up, Harley? And he and I know about Jimtown Road. Okay. And I've done some research with Harley up in East Tennessee. Maybe it might not have been too far from where that occurred, actually, with Amber Miller and Tony Aarons. We're going to get into that in just a minute. They were both mauled to death, and Amber lived a few days after her attack, but they were both mauled to death by packs of wild dogs. And the neighbor's dogs, the guy down the road was kind of blamed for it with his dogs, but they tested the dogs, Eric, and they didn't come back a positive match for them. Yeah. So they say that in the past 30 years, there's been only 2 documented cases of fatal wild dog attacks on humans. Now that's wild, because we hear a lot about all these in the news and stuff, like it was packs of wild dogs. But they say there were only 2 cases technically in the books that they say really counted as fatal wild dog attacks in the past 30 years. Okay. Let's see. And they say that actually hold on, let me read this real quick. It says both of these incidents took place in areas characterized by high human wild dog interaction, where humans often provided food, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Familiarity and food conditioning can drastically alter the behavior of wild animals. We know that, potentially making them less fearful and more likely to approach humans, which can sometimes escalate into aggression. Now, that's why I'm always telling people it's not a good idea to gift Bigfoots, Dogman, whatever. Don't gift any kind of, and I don't want to call Bigfoots wild animals. I feel bad saying that, but anything that we consider like a wild animal, okay, or a cryptid. Would you agree with that, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even gift out here. Now, do I have a spot in my woods that whenever I'm successful at hunting or I got stuff I need to get rid of, do I have a spot in my woods where I put it? Yes, I do. Yeah. It's not gifting, but I'm returning, it's always good to give back to nature what nature provides to you. So what I don't use, other things in nature can. So it's not gifting, I share it. But there's too many people that will put it right outside their door. And I'm like, that is, when you put something like that outside your door or close to your dwelling, you're asking for it to happen. It's not a question if it will happen, it's when is it going to happen.
Oh my God, Eric, I just had this thought. What was the last holiday we had? Easter. Was it Easter? What is today?
Well,
I guess it was Easter. It was Easter. And we went to my dad's house, and we were all sitting out on the front porch, and we have like our family, his wife's family was there. And we all take turns like taking family pictures and stuff on the front steps. And we were all just kind of chilling. And one of the dogs, one of the family's puppies, came running around the house with like a whole chicken carcass in its mouth.
Oh no!
And he started flinging it on people, like had their nice Easter dresses on and stuff. And it was really kind of funny. I was laughing. But it was funny because they were like, "Where did you get that chicken?" And my dad and somebody was like, "Well, my dad had put out the chicken like leftovers, like the carcasses and like you're talking about when you clean a deer, when you dress a deer." But he's like, they were like, "Where'd you put it?" He said, "In the woods." But see, the woods to him were like 10 feet from the house. Okay, so like it was funny. So the dogs found it and made a big old mess of it. But anyways, that just made me think of that. When you say you put things in the woods, sometimes like in my dad's sense, it's right there by the house. Okay, so
no, mine's about so I got 40 acres, and you can probably go about roughly 200 yards away from my house, and there's a little clearing out in my woods that's where I take mine at. I don't want it close to the house. Jojo, thank you for that super sticker. You're badass, man. I appreciate you.
Oh, beat me to it. Here we go. Thank you, Jojo. Thank you, Jojo. I appreciate that support. Thank you so much.
Firewater Pip is a different subject. Pip is just waiting to go in the crock pot, man. Come on.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta give her a hard time about Pip. If y'all missing it, Firewater puts out videos of Pip on her YouTube. It's awesome, man. That little squirrel that thing will sit there and tries to Hulk up that other squirrel. Come around. It's funny, man.
Gosh,
I get a kick out of her. There's her little squirrel Pip.
I need to check that out. That sounds fun. Oh my gosh. We love our animals. We definitely love our animals.
Yeah, I got hummingbirds. I need to get my feeder out. Then my hummingbirds been letting me know because they're like, "Hey, you fluffy dude, you forgetting something that you do every single year?" And they'll come up and they'll fly like inches from my face. Hello, where's our food?
Oh man, I know we ran out of birdseed today. I got to go get some tomorrow at Tractor Supply. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes, I know we can't not feed our birds every day over here. Well, getting back to the dog attacks, okay, the wild animal attacks. They say there's like 4 or 5 different reasons why these wild dogs would attack somebody, and I'm going to go through them real quick. Territory, okay, that's a big one, even when it comes to Bigfoot, any kind of wild animal, right? So territory, a perceived threat, pack behavior, all right, pack behavior, and food-related aggression. Okay, those are the main ones right there, and so it's really odd, I guess, when some of these encounters, like one of them we're going to go over today, is I think it's a family that was walking on a hiking trail, and they got attacked out of nowhere. I don't think they had food on them or anything like that.
Mm.
And they got attacked by one strange animal out there, and I think it bit the tip of the mother's finger off. Okay, and yeah, bit her finger. You think she would have gotten a better view of it though, because they said that it was a dog-like animal, but it wasn't. It wasn't quite a dog. That's what they said.
A very interesting description there. You know, dog-like animal. Hey, Amanda.
Oh yeah.
That brings interest to my because okay. So let's get in an investigative mindset here.
Okay.
So when you're actively looking at something, you got to take into factor that yes, stress is going to cause you to misidentify something. Fear is going to cause you to misidentify something. The attack itself is going to cause it. But look how often humans are raised around canines, and the fact that they're going to say it was a dog-like creature instead of it was a dog.
Exactly.
That really rings some bells. Going, hey, there's something here.
There's something off.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's weird, right? It's super weird. Unless it was like a hyena or something too, and I don't know. I mean, but not one single account of these mentioned walking on two hind legs. Okay, so I couldn't find anywhere where they're like, oh, it attacked me and it was walking on its hind legs. Or maybe they just conveniently left that part out as well. So I mean,
I don't know, because you got to think about this too. How many reports have you heard of Dogman creatures on all fours? There's been multiple reports of them being on all fours, hunting, for two reasons. Hunting this way is they're faster and they're more invisible because they're lower to the ground. You're not going to be as effective streamline if you're standing up and running. You're going to have that air hitting that massive body. So being on all fours is going to be better that way. Number two is you're 9 foot tall. You're going to stand out above most of the scrub brush in the grass. If you're down low, it's going to hide you. So being on all fours is not going to be, for me, just my personal opinion, my beliefs, is not far-fetched to have them be attacked by something like that on all fours. Perfect.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's really wild. A lot of the reports that I've heard and that I've been told are where it looks like a dog and it's running or walking on all fours, and even a car will hit it. Okay, the one that's local to me in my hometown, a couple was driving down the road one night, hit what they thought was a wolf. And they said they were mortified. They'd hit a wolf or a big dog. And they sat there for a second, and then it got up and it ran off on two legs, on its two hind legs. And they called the sheriff's department. They called 911 immediately. And I mean, I think at that point they may have thought they had hit a person. I mean, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. We are so brainwashed growing up that these things don't exist. So when you actually run into something like that for the first time and you don't believe it, and all of a sudden you've seen it on two legs after you could have swore it was on four legs, your mind's automatically going to go that way, because that's going to process the most easiest thing for your brain to process at that moment. And that moment was, I just hit a human. It's not going, hey, I just hit a Bigfoot, or hey, I just hit a Dogman, or hey, I just hit a human. It was on two legs.
Yeah. Or a bear too. I think a bear is a big one as well.
Yeah.
Because they do kind of look, they resemble a bear. Have you ever seen a bear with the mange, Eric? They look kind of weird, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
They don't look like a bear, actually. It looks like something else. I think there's a lot of misidentification probabilities. Yeah, I do for sure. Harley says the one I saw when I first saw it was laying flat on the ground, and it pushed itself up to a bipedal position, which most of y'all know my stories about Bigfoot and Dogman. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of times they're sleeping on the ground.
Yeah, and that there is tons and tons and tons of reports of that very same thing right there. I mean, and another one, there's, even Bigfoot's known to be on all fours. They call it the spider crawl because it looks like a spider. It's real freaky looking. But So I mean, once again, you're streamlined,
Mm-hmm.
or you're hidden. For us in the military, when we're putting hot lead down range, I was trying to think of a good way to put it.
Hot
The
lead.
most
Freedom
secure and
fries.
most stable. Huh?
Freedom fries.
What's that?
Freedom fries.
When we're sending freedom fries or freedom nuggets, whatever it is you want to call it down range, the most stable and the most secure and the most protective position for us is in the prone. Prone is laying down flat. You're hidden, you're more stable, you have better control. So, I mean, I put that logic in with this too, because these things are hunters. We're hunters.
They are. And dogs are actually more scared of humans than they're going to approach a human. And you think about that in your everyday life. I mean, how many times, I don't know about my dog. A lot of times when you're like trying to approach a dog, it'll run from you. Okay. Like they don't want it. They don't want no smoke. Okay. They don't want that smoke. I mean, I guess it just kind of depends on the dog though. Just like the people too. Most people will retreat if you confront somebody. Okay. They don't want the smoke, but then there's a few of them will, and you mess with the wrong one, you're going to get bit. Right.
Oh yeah, I mean, like so in my work truck, I keep 5.3 million Scoville dog spray in my truck because I mean
What?
I'm out.
Dog spray? Yeah, is that like bear spray?
Million. Yeah, it's just dog spray. It's good. It helps clean the sinuses. I use it to clean my sinuses more than I do spraying dogs.
Of course you do. Like hot sauce.
Dude, you stick it on there and you rub it in real good like that. It'll clear the sinus.
Eric, are you serious? Yeah. You're tough as nails, man. I can tell you're green.
It's just 5.3 million. It's not like real strong. I mean, but
it's just enough to numb your mouth up.
No. But you don't want to rub your eyes or anything else. I mean, you'll feel it then. But because I deal with dogs coming out at me all the time when doing my job. Generally, I stand up and yell at them, and they'll take off. But sometimes they don't. Then you grab that spray. I've waved my torch at them when I'm sitting there torching and had one come up. 9 times out of 10, they don't come at you until you turn your back on them. When you turn your back on them, that's when they come at you. If you face them, 9 times out of 10, when you face them, they're going to stay back or they're going to back off. So the key is don't turn your back on them. Don't try to run. Definitely, wherever you do, don't run. Because you just became a big toy.
Ooh, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't ever turn your back on a bear or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't ever do that. The worst thing you can do, and I had that story I've told before to the audience about when I was in the pasture with my horses when I was a kid. And I made it to the corral in the middle of the pastures. And I got nervous because I needed to get back to the barn, and it was through an entire pasture, and my horses were in there, and I was just walking, strolling along, trying to act normal and breathe normally, and I looked up and I saw my horses were staring at me, and I got nervous and I just took off running. And I should have never done that. I tell you what, instead of going straight, making that straight line to the gate to the barn, I had to veer off to the right, and I made it to the fence. Like there was a staircase that went over the fence on the side, and I made it almost to that. And I turned around right as I got to it, and my horse was right behind me. I could hear him breathing on my neck, and like, and he was literally on my neck. And I turned around and I got pinned up against that fence, and he had his feet up in the air, and he was like that. And I thought I was dead. He was just playing with me, but to me, I thought I was about to die. That was really scary. So I learned the hard way. Never run with big animals like that. Don't turn your back on them.
You make yourself look big and make yourself loud. Yeah. When you're dealing with things out domestic or in the wild, make yourself look big, make yourself sound loud. That is the key things. Elder dogmen make police siren sounds when they make various. I've heard of that. Sorry, wild man. I heard of that before. I personally haven't heard it unless I'm mistaken to 4 sirens, which is possible. I can't deny that. But I have heard that multiple times, wild man. Yeah.
Wow. That's the first time I've heard that before. But I have a German Shepherd. And a lot of times there's actually one case that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes about people are saying, well, whatever it was, it looked like a dog, but it looked like a German Shepherd, but it wasn't. It wasn't a dog. It wasn't a German Shepherd or a Husky, but it looked like them. And my dog is a German Shepherd. And sometimes in the middle of the night, I think she hears owls outside. She'll hear something, and she just puts her head back and she howls. It sounds like a siren outside. So it is dog behavior for sure.
Yeah,
so dogmen do act like dogs, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well,
little humanish.
Essentially, they are in a way a canine. In a way, a dogman is a canine. A werewolf is a canine, and because they got that canine aspect to them, so it makes sense if there's similarities between them.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Drift Speed says, hit a wolf man. He was not the type of guy to lie. Was a lawyer, very serious person. Didn't even talk about it. Yeah, I wonder sometimes, like, if a lot of people who have hit things like this on the road, because you do hear stories about people hitting them in the road. Wonder if they look like humans, kind of, and so people just don't ever report it or say anything. I would assume that would be the case for some of these folks.
Yeah, and that's why I have my Saturday shows, which was created by my subscribers. The campfire chats with Eric and guest, because I believe it's important to get your encounters out there. So Saturdays, that's why we do the Saturday shows, is get your encounters, because of that fact right there. There's so many people that don't talk about their encounters, which I grew up with the very same thing. You got ridiculed for believing in this stuff. But yet then again, as soon as everybody else is away, there's like, hey man, I got an issue. You might, you heard you talk about this. Can you come? Oh, you just sit there and put me down, and now you want me to come help you. And that's an instance you hear so many freaking times.
Oh yeah, for sure. Harley was saying that there's a distinct difference between dogmen and bears, and I mean, let's talk about the tracks real quick, because I've been trained in tracking, and I've been spend a lot of time in the woods, and I've clearly come across some bear tracks. Okay, my son actually located some bear tracks last year, up in the North Georgia mountains, and they could potentially they kind of like human footprints sometimes, but not really, because they got the claws and stuff. But people get all these things so confused at times. But bear prints, and I would assume canine prints, of course, are not going to look exactly alike. They're going to look different. I wish I had my tracking chart to show y'all tonight with all the footprints.
I'm getting ready to pull up an image, but I think
Oh, you got it?
Screen share, if I remember.
Yeah. Canine prints and bear prints aren't the same at all. And
no. So I'll have to screen share this with you.
Okay, we'll pull it up. No black bear, 8.5 feet tall. That'd be a big black bear, though. And Harley's got him up in the Smokies. Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to run into some black bear when I was up there with them. We did come across a nice cant track out by the creek, the spillway, whatever that was. Yeah, those are bear tracks.
Black bear around here, standing on twos, will get upwards to 7 or 6 foot, maybe a little taller on its hind. Yeah, these are bear. So you can see a big difference between human and canine when it comes to these bears. The biggest thing is this right here. You see that right there? On a dog, you're going to have 4. This has got 5. And then the other one is the pad. Look how long this pad is. And now
it's wide.
Oval shaped it is compared to, let's do the canine now.
Amanda says most animals are afraid of humans. She said I'm afraid of humans. I know I'm more worried about humans than I am cryptids, actually. For sure.
Computer. The Great North American meth head scared the hell out of me quite often too, being out in them woods.
Well, you just got to watch out. And the backwoods cults and rituals that are being done out there, and serial unalivers, that kind of stuff. We just have to keep our head on a swivel. For sure.
Here's your dog.
Okay.
Right here. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then look at the shape of that pad. Here's your here's your feline. This is a puma. 1, 2, 3, 4. But look at the shape of that pad. So there is a huge the canine or the feline will, as far as the pad goes, will fit more to a bear than a canine will.
Mm-hmm.
But you can still see a
Yeah.
huge difference in the pads and the toe placements on these animals.
Oh yeah.
So it is, in my opinion, which let's see here. Stop. There we go.
There is a big difference.
My opinion, there is a big difference. It's hard to mistake in the two.
Yes. Maureen says, "Don't eat Pip." Smash that like button. Thank you, Maureen.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for that super
Yeah.
sticker. I appreciate
I
you.
told her I wouldn't. See, she donated $19.99, so I told her I wouldn't eat Pip.
Oh God.
I didn't say anything about Pip's cousin, so.
Oh no. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Well, okay, so anyone who is trained to understand the difference between animal tracks is going to be acutely aware of the animal tracks that are around bodies that have been found that have been mauled to death by some kind of unspecified animal, Eric. So that's where I have an issue with a lot of these unspecified animal attacks. And a lot of times they'll say, well, it's an unspecified canine. Okay, fine. So they saw canine tracks. But some of these are like unspecified animal, like Brenda Hamilton's case, right? And and when I remote viewed that, I was seeing a big cat. It looked like a big cat is what I was looking at. I think that she was attacked by a big cat, but anyone with any kind of tracking capabilities would have probably noticed that there were some cat tracks around there, like big cats. And so it's a little confusing to me how some of these cases go unsolved like that.
Yeah, well, and so when you're dealing with big cats, you also got to. Now we're going on the bizarre and the unknown side of this.
Okay.
Okay, is the werecats. You know, werecats are very common from South America. They're common in Celtic society. You know, so and there's been tons and tons of reports of werecats, even up in my neck of the woods.
Really?
I mean,
you're talking about like a werewolf, but a werecat?
Yeah. So, in a lot in Mesoamerican mythology and even Celtic traditions, so the Celts will do the same thing, very much like an SW will, a skinwalker. They can put the pelt on and change to that shape. That's very, very steeped in Celtic mythology and in Mesoamerican mythology. So there's reports throughout Mesoamerica and stuff like that of werecats. Well, I've been hearing more and more reports here recently of were type cat creatures throughout the United States, even some even here in Missouri. I believe it was the southeastern part of Missouri, if memory serves me correctly. It's been a little while since I heard it, but I've heard of it even down in there. So when we're dealing with these big cat entities, that's not one aspect we're going to have to start putting in with this.
I'm totally down for some werecat knowledge because I'm not super familiar with that. Now we talk about the Lyrans and extraterrestrial feline beings and things like that, but the werecat, I know it's been mentioned before, but it's nothing that I've ever taken a deep dive into. And so, but that makes sense with the whole S-Walker aspect of it, because this would be something that a human would transform into, and I guess that would be like wearing the pelts and doing the rituals of black magic.
The transformation between the three is extremely similar. I mean, it is dang near identical. There is a few differences, but the whole process in general is the same in all three cultures.
Okay. Very cool. Okay, well, I'm down to do another show on werecats pretty soon.
Yeah.
Got plenty of time here. Dawn Moore, this is a really interesting comment right here. I wanted to read this. Hey, Dawn. August the 15th, 2022 in Rossi, Iowa, 450th Street and 200th Avenue. This is an exact location. Okay. 43-year-old Mindy Nelson found in a ditch, pulled off her motorcycle near her farm, deceased with bites. All 5 of her Great Danes were euthanized. DM Loose. Maybe a Dogman?
Dogman Loose, yeah.
Whoa.
I've owned Great Danes. Soon as I heard that
You've heard about
automatically
this?
told me no. As soon as he said that,
Okay.
my mind automatically went to that was their scapegoat, was her Great Danes.
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
Great Danes are just big ass lap dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're big lap dogs. I mean, they're protective of their masters, their owners. They're very protective of their owners, but they're big lap dogs. They're more scarier than they are anything. So when I hear 5 of her Great Danes were euthanized, that automatically, and Don, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, that's probably where you're going on this as well, but that automatically told me they were using that as a cover up, and which would be a perfect cover up for a Dogman situation.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the cases, and we're going to go over that one, even with I think it was the Amazon driver in Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
2 dogs were accused of attacking that man, and they were, I think they were locked inside the house. I know the police. I'm pretty sure the police went inside the house, and they ended up unaliving both of those dogs on site. And I thought, man, that is how many innocent dogs have been euthanized. Let's just say, because of they're being scapegoated over like a Dogman or a cryptid attack.
Oh yeah,
it's really sad.
And that's one thing. So this is what I always say: you got to become an investigator. So you got when you're seeing stuff like this, you got to put your investigative goggles on. And that's what I thought. Don confirmed what I was talking about. The dogs weren't even there when it happened. He just commented that a second ago.
Oh wow!
That's
the dogs weren't even there.
Yeah.
Well, it was like downtown, and the woman was found in a ditch by her motorcycle. Like what? I don't know. Unless her dogs lived right there, like it was in front of her house or something.
Yeah.
And Moondog Davis says there's a video of S walkers changing from a black cat, like a huge black cat. I want to see that video, Moondog. Send it to me.
Hell yeah. He said the Great Danes weren't even at the scene; they were back at the farm.
See, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. No. That makes no sense. There's just always a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's really sad. R.I.P. to all those Great Danes. We love our dogs, and
Scott, you're
awesome. It doesn't make any sense. So, oh gosh, thank you, Scott. Jessica, you're so awesome. It ought to require a license. Stop it, Scott. You're so silly. Thank you so much for that super sticker. I appreciate you very much. So innocent dogs are being scapegoated, Eric, to cover up cryptid attacks. And I've been saying that for years now. I've been saying that.
I will not sit here and tell you that every single case is an scapegoat. Right. But I will tell you, there's a good chunk of them that I firmly believe they are scapegoats, especially when the case, like I said earlier, is still active, even though they said this is what happened, yet the case is still active and you can't get nothing on it. So that automatically screams to me is scapegoat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into some of these cases. Okay, let's get into some of these cases because let's go into the first one right here. We're going to go into it's in Maine actually, and Eric, there's a lot of cases of dogmen that come out of Maine, and the big W's as well.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to say it one time. Wendigo.
Yeah.
I'm going to whisper it.
Prime country for that right there.
Yeah. I don't know what the deal is in Maine, but they do have a lot of dogmen up there and werewolf sightings as well. And let's see if I have a picture. Let's see what we have here. I may not have put a picture up for this one. I don't know if this is it or not. No. Okay, I don't think I have one. Okay, so in Lisbon, Maine, a family was injured when an animal believed to be a dog or a coyote, but they never specified what it was. The family could not identify it. It attacked a family on a walking path, and the chief of police said it happened after 6:30 p.m. on the Riverside Trail near the Big Dipper ice cream shop. Family-friendly area right there. The couple, their 11-year-old daughter and their dog were walking when the animal, estimated to be around 80 pounds, attacked the daughter, who suffered bite wounds on her leg. She was attacked on the leg, and then the mother stepped in to try to separate the animal from the daughter, and she was bit on the hand. The 37-year-old mother lost a portion of her finger from the bite. The 38-year-old father was also injured. He tried to pry the animal's mouth off the wife's hand. The wounds were minor. The family dog was not injured. So it didn't go after it sounds like a rabid animal to me or something, but I don't know. This is one of those that was just never identified as what kind of animal it was. But I think if it had been like a werewolf or something, they would have said, well, it looked like it was kind of a human. But they said it was like a dog, but it wasn't a dog. Yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, that's pretty telling to me right there. Dog-like. So you're what you're doing is you're saying it without saying it. Hey, this thing looked like a dog, but it also looked like something else.
Yeah.
Now could it have been a juvenile? That is a very good possibility. A juvenile stretching out on its own. How do I say this politely on YouTube? Hitting a certain stage of its life where certain things begin to manifest more like it does in all types of mammals. When you get to that certain stage in your life and certain things start flooding like crazy, could that be an instance like that? Possibly. I mean, it's going to be. Think what happened to us when that happened. We didn't think straight.
Yeah. What is a Fisher cat? I've never heard of a Fisher cat. Dressfeed said maybe it was a Fisher cat. Maybe I should look it up online.
Ain't that like that little cat there off of the
see what a Fisher cat looks like. Hold on.
Alice in Wonderland?
That's a Cheshire cat.
Oh, Cheshire cat. Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up real quick. It says a Fisher. Oh yeah. Okay. It could have been that too. Hold on. Well, I would show a picture. Y'all look up Fisher cats. It looks like a weasel or something to me. So could have been that. But it doesn't look anything like a dog though. It doesn't look anything like a dog. And those people said it looked like it could have been a dog or like a coyote is what they said. I think they would have known. They would have said like it looked more like a otter, whatever that thing is. A weasel. It doesn't look like a dog. Now we do hear cases of coyote type dogmen as well too. I mean, I've heard that pretty often actually, that they look like skinny coyotes until they stand up on their two legs and start walking around. Yeah. And coyotes are skinny anyways. They're lanky.
They are
famish looking.
There's a trickster too. You have to be careful with coyote. But man, that last time you and me was live on my show, that was a scary night when we got off and I went to grab wood. Needless to say, I didn't bring very much wood in my house that night.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that was a shit moment.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What exactly happened? You said that did you put a recording device out there or?
That is actually when I caught all the Bigfoot vocals. I was actually trying to, because I've been hearing for the last couple of weeks loud wolf howls that even I could hear it over my surround sound system in my living room. They were so loud. And I've been hearing coyotes a little closer to the house than normal. And so we done that show. I can't remember what show it was. It was the last one you and me did together on my channel. And then so I went out back to the woodshed and was grabbing some wood. So I was just in my shorts. I was like, I'm just running out here, grab a couple armloads of wood and come back in. I ain't going to be out but a couple minutes. And I got my armload of wood and I was coming out of the woodshed, walking back to the house. And all of a sudden you hear this really loud ass wolf howl to the north of me. I mean, like really loud wolf howl to the north of me. I went, oh shit, that's close. Which, I got gray wolves here. I've got red wolves here. This one was a lot louder. And then it wasn't even a split second later to the south of me, very, 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 very close, was a crap ton of coyotes going nuts. Oh. So I'm like, dude, I'm smack dab in the middle of a turf war here. So I was like, all right, it's time to go inside. I didn't have nothing on me. I literally was just in my boots and shorts. That was it. And so, I mean, I had nothing. I didn't have a knife on me, didn't have a pistola on me. I didn't have nothing. So I went back to the house. Well, I was talking to William about it, and he's the one that informed me about the Coyote King, and which I never heard of. Yeah, it's a Dogman type creature that runs with coyotes. Coyote King. Yeah. And that's what it kind of sounded
Wow.
like. So that's when I took and hooked my digital recorder up to my parabolic mic, and I set it out on my front porch, and I shut everything off in the house. Because if I'm going to be recording close to the house, I don't want um, noise pollution to get involved with that recording. So I'm trying to record this, really loud wolf howl that I've been hearing. And instead, I get Bigfoot stalking Lakota, Bigfoot stalking Chickasaw, and I get Bigfoot's chattering close to my house, walking up and down my ladder to my roof because I had my ladder
Oh
up on the roof of
God.
my porch because I
Oh
was removing
no.
satellite dishes. You can hear them walking around on the roof of my house.
Oh
You hear
no.
one of them scolding another one, hear him howling, hear him whooping, but it was and it never dawned on me the language until William pointed it out. And he's like, the female saying Shante. And I was like, yeah, what is that? He goes,
Yeah.
what is your, goes, Lakota lullaby. I went, oh crap. Shante waste hoste da da giastima.
Oh wow.
Shante. He was basically saying, calm yourself. Shante.
Talking to
And
you,
then
you
the two
think?
males, huh?
You think she's talking to you?
No, I
Saying
think
that?
she was talking to some others because they sound like juveniles around the house.
Oh, yeah. She was like, just go play. Don't scare him too much, y'all. Just a
Yeah.
little bit.
And then you hear two males at two different distances talking in Chickasaw.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. But it's not cool
Yeah.
because it's at your house.
Oh,
Okay.
I've lived with it for 33 years. So I
Yeah,
mean, this for me it was like finally I've got receipts to back up everything I've told
you
people
do.
because I've told people I've heard this chatter, I've heard him doing this, I've heard him doing that, but I had no way of proving it because I had no recordings. Now I
Now
got
you got him.
receipts.
Now you
Yeah.
got him. Yeah, I'd definitely take that ladder down. I wouldn't want them walking around my roof at
Oh,
night.
it is now. I finished
Yeah.
doing my job. I was up there doing work. That's why I was up there.
Oh man, tell them while they're up there, get a hammer and start working. Okay.
Yeah, I need
Leave your
to.
tools up there.
That's probably the reason why my
Oh
porch
my
is
gosh.
busted out. Besides the day of going goats, I
It could
got
be.
freaking juvenile Bigfoot walking on it.
Oh my God, it could be. Well, we have a question from Prophet Pray Music.
Yeah.
What's up, Prophet? It says, "Is Dogman more human than animal?" What do you think? Because
That is
I would think they're more animal than human.
so. That is a very good question, Prophet. And depending on which history line of Dogman you go off of, really leans towards what the answer is to that. So, in what we call Dogmen nowadays, Dogman was coined in 1980 or 1984, I believe, is when
Mm.
Dogmen came out. Before then, they were known as werewolves, just like everything else. But these things would not shift back and forth. One of the oldest Native American tellings I have here that I found here in the U.S. comes from Northwest United States, basically where everybody's favorite Twilight movie came from. Oh, Twilight.
Glitter
Yeah, sorry, no.
sparkle vampires.
Glitter,
I'm Team
glittery
Jacob, by the
vampire.
way.
Yeah.
I like Team
But
Jacob.
actually, those werewolves in there are very close to the depiction of what came from this story. So there was
Wow.
two brothers that were extremely successful at hunting, and they were coming home and they ran into an old man in the woods. And the old man's like, "You guys are good hunters. You've done well. May I have some food, please?" And they were like, "Yes, grandfather, we have enough. Here, take some food." So he was very thankful for their generosity. He says, "I will bestow upon you the gift of the wolf. Now you can transform into this wolf and be better hunters." So time goes on. They use their gifts. They're extremely well at hunting. Eventually, one of the brothers starts using his gift for evil. And it came to the point that he could no longer transform back into human form and was remained human form the whole time. So if this story is correct, then actually it's a combination of both. Now, dogmen, what we call dogmen nowadays, is they're known the same as Bigfoot. They're the elder big brothers, the first beings. They were here before humans were. So if you go by that aspect of it, which is also steeped in Native American lore, but it's also steeped in other cultures around the world, especially ancient Sumerian, of these dog-headed type people. But you'll find cases of this stuff in India, Rome, Greece. I mean, you'll find cases like this all over the world of these type of creatures. They are more canine than human, but they're a good combination of both. So that's actually a very good question. Really, it goes to what your beliefs are, because I don't think we'll ever have a definitive way of saying, yeah, they're more human or they're more dogmen. William's in the chat now. Never forget where it all started with the dogmen in the Yukon and Canada and dogmen wars and curse. Yeah, William, exactly.
Hey, William. Yeah, thank you, William, and thank you, Eric. That's a great explanation for that, and so it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Let me read that again because you said it. I got to read it for myself. I got to let my brain catch up here. Never forget where it all started with the Dogmen in the Yukon of Canada and the Dogman wars and curse. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that story that I just told came from that area.
Oh my gosh.
That area where it came from. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I actually have a case out of Canada. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
I think I do. Oh yeah, I do, about a child that was airlifted out of Ontario, as a matter of fact. I guess we can go ahead and talk about that right now. Actually, let's talk about that because this happened last year. Almost, it was just a year ago. There was a child that was airlifted to a hospital following what police called an attack by an aggressive canine type animal near the town of Bancroft, Ontario. It says that they issued a warning about the animal following an unprovoked attack of an 11-year-old child in the area of Bradshaw Road, about 17 kilometers, southeast of the town. Police did not release the victim's information, like the gender or anything, or where the child was at the time of the attack. But he was bitten and subsequently airlifted to a trauma center with non-life-threatening injuries. Now, I personally think if it had been a dogman, he wouldn't have survived. That's my opinion on it. But I don't know.
I would say generally, yeah, you're correct. But unless it was basically just giving him a warning, like, hey, enough's enough. Yeah. I believe they have compassion. So, I mean, that is the case. But I'd probably lean more to what you said. I don't think if it was going after somebody like that, it probably, wouldn't have came back.
He wouldn't survive. I don't know. That's my opinion on it. But also, if you go by like what we watch on YouTube with a lot of, there's a lot of channels out there. They're like, oh, it's a dogman attack, and these people were attacked, and these people were attacked. But when you take reports from people that have had firsthand encounters with them, most of the dogman sightings are not violent. Not the ones that you hear about. But I mean, I don't know. They don't seem like they're very violent unless they're provoked.
Yeah. If you get on their turf, you push them. They're sent after you. They're going to be very violent. A lot of times when it's dealing with violent is your werewolves, which is the dark magic curse put upon a human. Either they asked for it or it was put upon them. They are still mostly human, but with mostly a canine upper portion. Those are going to be your most violent attacks that I've noticed. But dogmen will attack. I mean, you push them, you provoke them, or they're sent after you. It's going to happen. Yeah,
I know. I do get warned quite a bit from people I don't know. They're always telling me, like, you don't know what you're messing with out there. Don't go in the woods and stuff. And I'm like, that's what I do, though. I've been doing that for decades now. It's well over a decade I've been doing this stuff. Okay. I've been doing it my whole life, really, but technically,
I love
as a real hobby. Okay. And it's a hobby, I guess. I have been doing it for almost 15 years now. And I'm still here. Okay. So pooey. I'm just kidding. Okay. There's another one. Let's go to another case about a kid.
Yeah.
Okay. And like I said, I don't remote view these children's cases. People know not to task me with these. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I only take targets from certain people who know the parameters. Okay. You got to know the parameters, and you got to be trained in how to give me targets too. But anyways, so a mystery animal attacked a child and unalived a bunch of dogs in New Jersey. Okay, and this, I think this happened in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. It said the parents of a small toddler were horrified when their young child was attacked and dragged off by a mystery animal while visiting New Jersey. The child was reportedly running around with his cousins and uncle in a yard when a mysterious animal attempted to grab him and began to drag him off. The frightened infant was able to break free from the attacking animal. Authorities said the young boy was treated for scratches and bite marks in the hospital and released. It was an unknown animal. This was just an unspecified animal. Like, they did not know what this animal was at all. Now, does that mean it was a Dogman? No. Okay, but it was just another unspecified animal
up there you got
attacked that kid.
Devil. I mean, you got several different things up in that area it could be, but the fact that they said
it unalived a bunch of dogs, and it was known for taking out dogs. So, yeah, I mean, what would be on the list of that?
Society.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty terrifying, actually. And so that's, oh God, I feel like such a Debbie Downer talking about kids getting attacked by unspecified animals and stuff. But I've got a kid. He's about to be 11, and we're always telling everybody to be real careful about these national parks and stuff. And but a lot of these happen in people's backyards, in their front yards.
There's tons of reports of that. Yeah.
So you got to be careful in your own yard too. And but hey, you know what? I mean, I was always out running around when I was a kid. I mean, if I wasn't on a 4-wheeler, running into the lake and whatever else I was doing, being crazy. I was always out there doing something. And I lived on a farm. I mean, anything could have grabbed me, I guess. But I always had a German Shepherd when I was a kid, just like I got one now. And that dog guarded my life. Literally guarded my life. And so I highly recommend everybody having a protective dog if you got a kid. That's just that's what's worked out for me. Do what?
Snow gets feel like something's in the woods. He's gone. He won't leave me, but he won't be by me. Can't leave me in the woods.
Oh my God.
Hey, you still there, fluffy guy? I'm not coming in, but are you still there? I'm like, dude, you're supposed to have my 6 and you're leaving me hanging.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was like the time I was out in the woods and we heard my son and I had taken a little hike away from the base camp where my team was. I took him with me I don't remember if we were actually camping out that night. I think he did camp out with me that night. And we got out there. We just took a walk down the road and we got about 100 yards down the road from the base camp, down a literal road, like a dirt road. And we heard what sounded like a velociraptor. I mean, I'm not going to say I know exactly what a velociraptor sounds like, but if I'd ever heard of velociraptor, I would think that's what a velociraptor sounds like, because I never heard that noise before. It sounded like the Predator from that movie, The Predator. And it was loud and it echoed through the woods. And it felt like it was kind of directed at me and us. And I was, when I finally, I froze for a minute to try to figure out where it was coming from. And I looked over and my son had already started trucking it back to the base camp. He was running full force back to base camp. And which was good because I was able to could have come get me. Don't get my son, get me. Okay. But there was nothing out there. I couldn't find it. I didn't stick around long, but sometimes that's best, I guess. I mean, especially if you're a kid, just get out of here, but anyways,
possibility of it being a velociraptor, I can't deny it. I've said this ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper's ass. The damn asteroid didn't take out all the dinosaurs because, simple fact, we still have sturgeons, we still have spoonbill, we still have snapping turtles, we still have sharks, whales, giraffes, horses. The list goes on of different stuff that was alive during that time that we still have. So if the asteroid would have took them out, then obviously we wouldn't have that stuff as well. Crocodiles, alligators. I mean, the list can go on and on and on of different life forms that we still have on this planet to this day that was alive during that time. So, no. And the fact that you hear this sport, Malok Lambimbe, prime example of one.
Out of Africa.
Nessie. I mean, the list goes on.
We got the Georgia Raptor, too. We got Georgia Raptor. Now, I'm going to say I might have been in Georgia when that happened, or I was close by. If I wasn't in Georgia, I was somewhere. And I think I might have been in Georgia. I can't remember. But it was It was something. It was definitely something. And
Yeah,
Jamie, I saw that comment. You better protect your husband this weekend. Okay. He will become a believer if he's not. Jamie went out in the woods with me, y'all, up in North Georgia. She came to the Bigfoot conference. And she and her two sisters went out with us Bigfooting, and we had a really good time. Jamie, actually, it was Jamie that found that print that I showed everybody. That was Jamie. And
man.
She said, I have divine protection. I do. We all do over here. Okay.
I got the protection of fluffiness. Anything eats me,
Oh
it's
my
going to
gosh.
get diabetes.
I mean, sometimes that's the only answer as to why I'm still alive today is divine protection. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Jamie. Yes, that is true. I should not be here today. Okay. Multiple occasions. It is a shocker that I'm still alive right now.
You know what?
Okay.
I was thinking about this one day. I think it was yesterday. I was thinking about something. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. I've been hit by a car. I fell off a cliff. I've had stuff hit me underneath the chin that should have took my head off as an 18-wheeler mechanic.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
I've been through so much crap, but I've never broke a bone. I have never broken a bone.
I'm not speaking too soon on that because I'm going to knock on wood. I haven't either. Okay. Well, I think I've broken a pinky toe a couple times. Okay. Pinky toes, does that count? I don't know. Pinky toes count. That's the worst.
No, I don't. But it's weird because you hear all this stuff. It's like, well, I mean, if you had all this done, have you ever thought about this because of, you've never had this done to you? I'm like, yeah, I've never had it done to me, but I never thought about that way. But I mean, look at it. That trailer door, that spring-loaded trailer door that hit me under the chin that should have took my head off. All it did is made me see stars for a few seconds and go, damn, that hurt, And I went right back up on that ladder and went right back to work.
Brush your shoulders off.
But yeah, I mean, I've been fights. I've been in farming accidents. I've been in military stuff. I've been in, mechanical stuff accidents. I've been in vehicle accidents. I've been in the things that I've been in, and I've never broken a bone. And people saying you might be, I think they called it a star seed. I think is what they call it.
Star seed. You're a star seed.
I must be a star. Man, hey, I got mercury running through my veins, baby.
Yeah, you got the Palladians out there protecting you. You got that divine protection. Yeah. That's what it is.
But it makes you wonder. It really does start to make you wonder. It's like, I should have had way more broken bones than what I've ever had.
Yeah. Or maybe this is just our lives are like episodes of Quantum Leap. You know what I mean? And it's like we do pass away at those moments or something, and then we just jump into another timeline. I mean, who knows? This world is so weird. I don't know. Maybe some of us do that. Maybe we do. Leah says velociraptors sound like they do in the movies. How do they know is the bigger question. They have camo that matches the land, sandstone colored near Flagstaff. They are in 4D too fast to perceive. Wow, that's very cool. Yeah. They've actually taken samples of, I don't know if they got like their voice box found in like a fossil or something. I don't know what the heck happened, but they were recreating the sound of like a T-Rex or something. Have you heard that, Eric?
So what they did in order to create the sounds is they combined several different sounds, changed the pitch of them, and came up with what they thought was the best approach to it. I heard scuttlebutt of them finding the fossilized remains of the vocal cord, and that's how they did it. I've heard that with the Velociraptor, or it was the T-Rex. I don't remember. I think it was the Velociraptor. I don't know. I really either A, they're lying to us and they know exactly what they sound like, and that was the closest way they can come to it, or B, like, hold my beer, watch this. We're going to create something cool here, and it went stellar, baby. I mean, that's about. Oh, I just looked over, seeing what William said. Eric's hold my beer.
Oh my gosh. I see. Yeah. I think that honestly, I think that there's a high probability that they've got some kind of Jurassic Park or Jurassic Island here on this earth somewhere. And there are plenty of dinosaurs running around. And there was that very credible case out of Georgia down near the Troop Herd Corridor where I do some of my research in middle Georgia on the west side near Fort Benning, actually. Is it Benning?
Fort Benning's weird. Yeah,
Fort Benning, right? And and that's where the Georgia raptor was seen one morning, early in the wee hours of the morning.
That kind of makes sense because wasn't it Disney that just had a whistleblower come out of Disney talking about how they were cloning dinosaurs?
I don't know, but I don't doubt it. Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, like, hey, look, there was like several, which goes into what I've always said. You want to know the next best thing that they're going to reveal? Watch Holly Scrooge. Holly Scrooge will tell you the next thing is getting ready to come out.
Holly Scrooge, Holly Weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably will.
Look, all these movies about dinosaurs and now they're cloning them. It's like, hello. Yeah. Crap, yeah. I need a bigger gun. Instead of, hey, I think we need a bigger boat, it's, hey, I think we need a bigger gun. I mean, I'm going to know what Tyrannosaurus Rex tastes like by the end of the day because I'm going to have a
Oh, man, some T-Rex nuggets. T-Rex nuggets would be kind of cool. I mean, I've had gator nuggets. Yeah. Yeah. I totally, I'd try anything once. Okay. I mean, but just think they're eating mermaids. Why wouldn't they? If you can eat a T-Rex, eat a T-Rex. Yeah. I'm just saying.
William, that's a good point because, I mean, I'm a firm believer in not the full hollowed earth theory, but it's like a combination of hollow earth and honeycomb. I'm a firm believer in that. And I believe with the ecosystem that's down in there, well, there is still dinosaurs down in there. So, William, that is a very good comment right there.
That's a great point. And maybe they are coming up from like the cave systems that are, connected to inner earth. Yeah. I think that's 100% that's a wonderful point right there. Thank you, William. And oh my gosh, yes, and all that cloning that's being done as well. That's a good point. Rose Thistle Artworks. And it's Sovereign says, supposedly we've been eating cloned chickens all along. And chickens are related to velociraptors. Okay.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Look it up. Yeah.
They're closely related to Tyrannosaurus Rex.
A T-Rex. And there's little miniature T-Rexes being reported out of Texas. Okay. So maybe they're just really violent chickens.
They've cloned the saber-toothed tiger. They've cloned the woolly mammoth. And now they're cloning the dire wolves. I'm sorry, but what they showed as dire wolves ain't a real dire wolf. If they're doing that, it would not be out of the aspect that they're cloning Dogman, Bigfoot, dinosaurs, whatever it is. And which we've talked about this on your show before. I've talked about it on other shows too. With the military cloning these things as weapon program, and there's several whistleblowers come out to say a werewolf is easier to control than a dogman because a dogman has more of its animalistic thoughts to it than a werewolf does. So we prefer the werewolf over the dogman because they're easier to control.
Yeah. Easier to control because they can have a conversation with you. They've got more humanistic characteristics than the dog. And that you and I did that show about a month or so ago about the animal-human hybrids that allegedly our military was working in a program with those super soldiers. And the reason that they claimed they needed to be eliminated, all their assets needed to be eliminated, the offspring of their assets actually, was because the beast had taken over. The beast had taken over and they were not able to control them. And they were going around mauling humans and hurting humans and damaging property and things like that. So that could be what some of these reports are.
It could be.
That's what I think. I think the ones on Jimtown Road were.
You got my curiosity going now. How close to military bases are those to those locations?
Well, Oak Ridge Lab, which is not, it's a government lab. That's right there beside Cott County, where Jimtown Road is. And that's where they worked on the Manhattan Project and the atomic bomb creations. Yeah. And they have a large ion collider experiment, the ALICE experiment out there, working with CERN. So 100% absolutely, I believe that does have something to do with some of these attacks. I think personally, because that's that zombie bear thing that I was talking about, that remote viewing data for both of those targets of Tony Aarons and Amber Miller, zombie bear came up twice on two separate targets, 2 different times. I wrote down zombie bear. Okay, and so what were those people injected with? Bear DNA lion DNA, and wolf DNA.
Interesting.
Yeah, right. Okay, so and by the way, if you guys want to see, this is and rest in peace to all of these people, y'all. This is a very sensitive subject actually, and it's I just want to, of course, when this happened, I mean, I read Amber's, at least I think I've read both of their autopsy reports actually, and in the end they did they almost kind of villainize these people. And I mean villainize as in like made them look like, it kind of made out like, well, Tony was an alcoholic, and Amber was on DRUGS, you know what I mean, and that kind of stuff. And it was kind of felt like they were kind of pushing a narrative a little bit about them, like I don't think that they were trying to make out like, well, they deserved this, or of course they did not, but it was just the way the media was kind of portraying it was it kind of irritated me a little bit, because nobody deserves what they experienced. Nobody. And this is the area where they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the area. That is where Cott County is, right there in the Great Smoky Mountains, actually, up in East Tennessee. And that's right around, I think it's a little south of there is where they have the Oak Ridge Labs. And it's about a county over, maybe kind of southwest, I think, of that county. So not too far. And then, okay, so we got Tennessee right here. And then right beside Tennessee, we have, I guess it's not right beside, but over to the left, kind of, we have Kentucky. And, oh, this is a hard one to talk about. I'm not a huge fan of this story right here. But a couple of years ago, there was a little boy who was around 13 years old, and he got attacked by an unknown canine. And this is the little boy right here. His name was Corey Godsey. Okay. And he was attacked. He was found dead on a mountainside behind a residence in Montgomery Creek Road in Knott County. That's in Kentucky. This is where that's at. Right there. It says the area is mountainous and, according to residents, surrounded by strip mines. Now, what is a strip mine, Eric? Do you know what a strip mine is?
Yeah, that's where they're going through and just completely destroying the land, pulling every dang mineral they can up, and leaves a big ass pit. Freaking, I hate it. It's so disgusting. God, it's so ugly.
Okay, so that would mean that they're actually decimating all the land out there, so all the wildlife is being displaced and getting pushed out into the residential areas, is what I would assume. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know what a strip mine was. Never heard of that before. Okay.
Yeah. It's man, you ever see one, it'll turn your stomach. It's just what they do to that land. It's just disgusting.
Well, where this little boy was found, it says that for a person that lived on that same road for 30 years said that he had noticed that sometimes their chickens would go missing, but never more than a few. And they had heard coyotes, wild hogs, but nothing like what happened to that little boy. And he was mauled to death. I think this one was a rather malicious one, actually. And we're going to leave it at that. But they were pretty shocked to think that there was a large animal that could have done that to a child out there. And it was just, they just said that it was an unknown animal attack. And people are saying it was an unknown canine attack. Okay. But I don't think the animal was ever found. Unless there's been some kind of update to this day. I'm pretty sure it is not. I don't think it's ever been solved. See if anybody in the chat knows. I don't think so. But anyways, that happened in Kentucky, and Kentucky is also an area of high concentration of dogmen and werewolf sightings as well. And so people in the dogman community, I guess if there's a dogman community, cryptid community, that's kind of one of their hot topics when it comes to like evidence of like dogman attacks. This is one of those go-to stories right here. Okay. Is him. But of course, so is Brenda Hamilton too. But I personally think that was a big cat that got her. Okay. And it also could have been a big cat that got this child as well. Okay. But they were saying canine. So I just, like I said in the beginning of the show tonight, Eric, any kind of tracker, any person that has tracking advice or experience, anyone who could just open up a book and look and see what a track looks like, they'd be able to tell what got this child. That's what I think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, to me, I wouldn't necessarily put that in the category of wild dogs because that is way, way, way outside of the dog plane of how they operate. I mean, it's no, that is something different, something not very good. My first
Yeah.
thought went to Guggly when you were talking about it. But as far as wild pack of dogs, I'm sorry, that's not their mo. That could be anything. Only, I mean, yeah, two-legged critter of one type or another is where I'm going to probably put that at.
A two-legged, you said two-legged, something
Yeah,
bipedal.
yeah,
I mean, it's pretty rough. It's very rough, very sad,
yeah,
and very sad. Like I said, I don't like to get in the details when it comes to children. Okay, well, not with
yeah.
anybody really, but I mean, especially with children. And
No,
but
I
that is
agree.
another that's another big time case that is attributed and associated with dogman fatalities. If it's suspected dogman fatalities on there. Now, I am not saying any of these that we're discussing tonight were dogman attacks, y'all. So I want to make that very clear tonight. We are simply talking about ones that could possibly, potentially have been done by cryptids and dogmen,
Yeah,
particularly. But it doesn't mean that they were. Okay, and I really hate to ever feel like I would never ever say, oh, this is definitely what it was, because these families are still mourning for their loved ones,
yeah.
and
They
and
will.
I'm sure they're still looking for answers.
Hmm. And I'm sure they're probably getting lied to, like most of the other ones are. And that's what's sad.
Yeah.
You're never
Yes,
going to get full closure because you're never going to get the truth.
that's true. That's true. Well, even in the case of Brenda Hamilton, out of North Carolina, she had her family had actually even made a website. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Brenda's family had made a website saying, "Hey, we don't know what happened to our aunt, mother, grandmother. We don't know what happened. Please, somebody help us. We're not getting straight answers from everybody. We don't believe these reports. Let's keep this case going. Okay, like help us find out what happened to her." So I
Well,
mean,
and the problem is how long it's been since that happened. If anybody came out with a fresh set of eyes, any traces of anything, it's going to be gone. Nature had done erased it. So that's going to make it
that's
even more
true.
difficult. But photographs is going to be your primary source of knowing what happened is photographs of the scene, which is I'm trying to think how to say this without being mean, but I mean I used to take forensics in college, so I mean I'm looking at it a forensics aspect on this here, and the fact is you're going to have to rely more on photographic evidence to determine the cause of it than anything because it's been too long. Even testimonies, you can take them, but you have to take them with a grain of salt. Testimonies are not reliable. So the only thing reliable right now would lead to the answer of that would be honestly photographic evidence.
Good point. Yes, for sure.
Mhm.
And this is interesting, Dawn. Dawn says, don't
Yeah.
forget about the 400-foot long Dogman Island in the Pigeon River across from the boat launch right by Jimtown Road train trestle. I've not heard about that. So, dang it, I should have
Um,
visited there when I was in East Tennessee. Maybe I'll go back.
heck
I'll
yeah.
go I'll go take my little what do you call it? My hammock. I'll take my
Yeah.
hammock and my tarp and I'll go out there and I won't go by myself
Yeah.
though. Promise you that. I wouldn't go by myself, but I'd take somebody with me and I will go. Okay.
The good thing
Um,
about hammocks when it comes to cryptids is they have
Doritos?
a sack to carry you off with.
Yeah, exactly. They can just twist you up and like spin you
Yeah,
around and just throw you over their shoulder. Just like what is that guy's name?
grab both
That guy,
ends and
yeah, that guy up in Canada. Alfred somebody, I can't remember his name, but Osman, Albert Osman, that's it.
Mhm.
See, got Prince Albert in a can. He's the one that like blew the tobacco in that Bigfoot's face and got away from him. But
No,
anyways,
he didn't. He didn't
that's
blow it in
interesting.
his face. He handed it to him, and he took it. And when he took it, he got sick. I have
Oh
the
yeah.
newspaper article on my external hard drive from that.
Oh my gosh. Well, nonetheless,
Yeah.
he got twisted up in his sleeping bag and he went on a
Yep.
journey with that Bigfoot.
Yep.
Yeah, that would suck. Oh, Mike said, how to tell the difference between a Bigfoot and a Dogman. Well, Dogman, it's
Well,
gonna look more like a dog.
yeah.
Bigfoot's gonna look more like a Bigfoot. I'm just kidding,
A
Mike.
Dogman is going to be more streamlined, where a Bigfoot's going to be more of your Hulk. You know, it's kind of like the Hulk fighting the Wolverine. That's kind of what you're looking at when it comes to Dogman and Sasquatch. Dogmen or Sasquatch are big, bulky, strong. Dogmen Dogmen are going to be bulky too, but not near what they are with Sasquatch. I mean, they're streamlined, so it's going to be a huge difference. Plus the ears, the tail. I mean, your Dogman's got the pointed ears, long tail, unless it's a werewolf, then it don't have a tail.
Right.
Bigfoots don't. The Gugwee's about the only thing that's probably got close to a pointed ear, and that's not canine-like.
Yes. Okay. Sovereign says wild coyote pack was used as an excuse out here. That's in California, I believe, for some strange hiker deaths. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay.
That's coyotes. Man, a coyote's attacking a human.
Yeah, that's well. I've been kind of tried to be lured out into the pasture. Sometimes we had coyotes out at my farm. Mm-hmm. And we've heard them out there, and had one that was walking around like had a broken leg or something wrong with it. And but I think they weren't trying to get me out there. They were trying to get my dog out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think that they were luring me out there. They were luring my dog.
Yeah. Coyote, about the only time, generally, the rule of thumb, 99% of the time, the only time a coyote's going to attack a human is if they think you're dead. And they're like, free meal.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll run from you.
So don't play dead. Don't play dead.
Yeah.
Playing dead will do the opposite of what you think.
Yeah. Now, if they have rabies, that's a different story.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to this. Let's just talk about Brenda Hamilton for just a minute, because I mentioned her earlier tonight, and I mentioned that her family was still wanting answers for what happened to her, and for people who are not familiar, this was let's see, what year was this? 19. Well, this in 2019 is when they released her autopsy report. So this had to have happened like 2018 or maybe even 2017. It was a while before they released her autopsy report. But this was her. This is really sad. So she was a veteran school teacher, and she was attacked when she had been she went for a walk every single morning. And she took her little dogs with her. And around February the 15th, I think this had to have been 2018 or 2017, she was at her 51st year of teaching at Pungo Christian Academy. Deputies say that Hamilton was found in a ditch submerged up to her shoulders in water. This is that ditch right there to the right, I believe. Neighbors were awakened by their barking dogs and found I guess they were her barking dogs. They were found near Brenda, and they alerted authorities. She was 77-year-old woman, and she died. I think she lived for about 3 days. Investigators say that the dogs were not wet, and there were no visible signs of mud or blood on them. Field tests done later that afternoon showed trace amounts of human blood on their paws and on their mouths. But don't you think that they would have gone up and tried to touch her and lick her?
Yeah.
To try to get her to wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said the dogs were eventually seized and quarantined for observation. Deputies say they never showed any aggression during the 10-day quarantine, and they were returned to their owners. DNA samples were taken from 14 dogs in the area of the attack. The dog DNA was found on the victim's outer jacket and her shoe. It matched the 2 dogs that were found near the woman on the day of her attack. The lab located dog mitochondrial DNA on a swab from Hamilton's ear, a swab from her scalp, and the flashlight she carried in her hand, her hooded sweatshirt, her t-shirt, and a dead nutria, which was found nearby. That nutria is looks like a groundhog or something, doesn't it?
Yeah, big ass freaking
like a rodent.
Rat, yeah.
They're like a big rodent. Deputies say the DNA likely came from one of the same 2 dogs. However, mitochondrial DNA, which comes from the mother, is non-discriminating, and a match to a specific dog could not be made. After a hearing, Beaufort County's Dangerous Dog Committee did not find the dogs dangerous. After completion of all testing and a review of the scientific and circumstantial evidence of this case, we are unable to make a definitive determination as to what type of canine attacked Brenda Hamilton. Deputy said in a news release, while the DNA evidence brings the 2 domestic canines under suspicion, the observations of those 2 canines by deputies, animal control, and investigators tells a different story. So none of the dogs in the area, none of them were identified.
Canine.
Yes.
Yeah, unknown canine. That kind of stuck out to me. And judging by what I seen in that one picture of that area, perfect place for them to be. I mean, you got that little swampy ditch there with really, really thick woods right there. Perfect ambush.
Honestly. Perfect. Yeah, perfect ambush site. Let me tell you though. Okay, so this was given to me as a blind coordinate remote viewing target a while back, and and what I thought I was looking at, I think I identified a cat, like a big cat, but something that I believe I wrote down chipped and collared or something like that on that data. So it makes me wonder. Could it have been somebody's domesticated like big cat that got out? You know, like people have those things as pets.
Yeah.
And maybe there was a cover up or something. You know, it all goes back to the footprints again, though. To me, the tracks. There had to have been tracks around there somewhere, but they're talking about canines. They're stuck on it being a canine, but I don't think it was. I don't know. I just don't know.
Then again, I mean, it goes right back. Could have been a werecat.
Oh gosh, a werecat. That would have been something else right there.
But I mean, if you're going off of canine footprints, man, that could be okay. So footprints could be made from the dog, so it was probably trying to wake her up and get her out of that ditch. She walked that area so many times, and them dogs were very familiar with her. They're probably on a very good, friendly basis with each other, so they probably knew her. A dog's going to sense when something's wrong, and whenever they sense that somebody they care about, that they think that they are here to protect, they're going to be doing whatever they can to help out their pack member. You essentially become a pack member. Dogs are pack animals. That's why it's important with your animals that you show that you're the alpha and you're the leader of the pack, because otherwise they'll run wild over you trying to take control and be the alpha male in the pack. You have to be the alpha male. So when you become on a friendly basis, like I'm pretty sure she probably was, walking that same spot as many times she did, probably walked it enough that she's watched them animals grow up since they were puppies, that she is a member of their pack. So when something like that happens, they're going to say, hey, come on, get up, come on, keep coming, come on, we can do this, don't go out on me now. So that's going to be where that stuff comes from, and that's probably where the footprints come from. My question is, what's the size of the canine tracks that they're talking about? And that would be my question on that.
I mean, I would like to see evidence of whatever the tracks they had. I think that would be interesting to see. I mean, they came out with you can get like autopsy reports, right? I mean, you can find, you can go get those, right? Yeah, okay. You can do you said if the case is closed?
Yeah, if the case is still active, you cannot. Hence why we can't get any information from the FedEx deal, because it's still an active investigation. Oh, yeah. Although they said that they done found the cause of it and took care of it.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Well, it's very tragic. It's very tragic, and the fact that she was just out there walking just like she did every morning. And now I'm thinking those dogs were not actually her dogs; they were just neighborhood dogs that were with her. I think
they probably were. Yeah,
I think they were just neighborhood dogs. Yeah, but they sat there with her, and they were not harmed. It was just her. So to me, it would seem like something. When I was remote viewing this, I saw something fall down from a tree or jump down, and so I feel like it's very cat-like, exactly. So,
and the thing is too, those dogs probably scared that cat off before it can finish doing what it was wanting to do.
Yeah, because she actually was not dead. She survived it, but she died days later. I mean, she was 77? I mean, 77 or 71. I can't remember what I said. She was 77. I mean, that's that's tough to come back from being attacked by an animal like that, and then being in that water. My gosh, she was up to her shoulders in a ditch of like water.
Look at all the bacteria and parasites that's in that thing.
Yeah.
That's swamp.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The infections probably ran rampant because of that.
Yeah. Candy says some cases say they found no tracks. Yeah. A lot of times, I mean, I just don't always buy all these cases where they're like, they got attacked by an unspecified animal, but there have to be tracks. My goodness, it's like fingerprints, right? It's like,
yeah.
But then again, I see. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, I see like how sloppy some of these investigations have been. I mean, my God, my mom's best friend died. I mean, we assume he died up in North Georgia, up near Rome. Okay, where there's an area of high strangeness, Floyd County, Georgia. Shout out to everybody up there. I'm not dissing anybody up there. Okay, I just think that things could have been handled differently. His house burned down, and and the next morning when we found out, I went and grabbed my mom, and we went up there. His house was burnt so bad that there was nothing left, and it burned overnight. And the fire department was there, and they had my mom and I sifting through the rubble looking for bones with them. And it was just very weird. All of it was just weird. And I was like, that we didn't find anything. So we didn't even know if he was in the house. We still don't know. They assumed he is. They made a death certificate now and everything. His dog was missing. Two of his dogs. We found two of his dogs, but his one dog was gone. And it was just very terribly done. Okay.
No bones were found.
No bones were found. And when a house burns, a lot of times there'll be teeth or bones, right?
There's gonna be bones left over.
There was not one. There was not one tooth, nothing. We literally, I hate to say this term, but we skimmed it with a fine tooth comb, so to speak. And so we just have to assume that he passed away. And actually I had my whole team of remote view it that day. And everybody on the team came back with the same data. He was unalived. We know he was. And and so anyways, it's a long story, but I just see I'm the point of me telling you that, Eric, and the whole world right now. Sorry, Ed. R.I.P. to Ed. And he was a dear friend. Okay, and he deserves justice for all that, but I just see how sloppy it was done as far as like officials. They actually ended up calling the GBI in. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations came up like 2 days later or something, because they were like, we couldn't find him. They couldn't find him. So we couldn't find him. And I am not trained in that, Eric. I'm not trained in recovering bodies and stuff,
I'm trying to approach this very sensitive as I can. If they didn't find any remains,
nothing, never found remains. Matter of fact, the guy who owned the property around his house bulldozed it the next week, bulldozed everything. And I was like, this is not right. Like nothing is right. So it was just a big cover up. It was just fishy.
It is.
But I have personally experienced this. And that's why I can say that I know that there are cover ups even with the best meaning people and police forces and fire departments and all that. It's things are not handled properly.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I agree with you on that. So what are you doing?
Yeah. So anyways, when it comes to all of these things, and I am like the loudest mouth when it comes to like, hey, I think our government's involved in cryptids, and they know, if I can see what they've done, and I've had to deal with court systems myself, and it's corrupt.
Yes, that's why I got out.
That's my experience. There's no justice in our court systems.
That's why I got out of the criminology field.
Yeah, and that's why I got out of politics too. It's just all dirty, man. So anyways, but shout out to all of our politicians. I know I got some that watch the shows, and I love you guys. Okay, I worked in it for my whole life, but there is corruption out there, and you'd be crazy to say there's not. Okay, and so that's how I know that there's a lot of cover-ups, a lot of lies, a lot of mistruths, a lot of cover-ups and omissions and things like that. So, yeah. I don't think there's any argument that a lot of these cases are just covered up. Okay, they're just covered up. They're not handled right, and I really stressed the paw prints and stuff during the show tonight because I wanted to make it very clear that people with decent tracking skills can tell you exactly what animals got these people. So, anyways, I had my 5 minutes of venting tonight. Oh my gosh. Yeah, got it all off my chest. Okay, but it is what it is, and I think that we as citizens here in the United States of America, we have a right to know what the heck's going on out there, and to not be lied to about these things, and to just let us know what's going on out there, so we can protect our children and our families. You know,
and yourself,
and yourself, and each other. And how does this affect us in our everyday lives, Eric? Should we be worried? I mean, I always tell everybody, just keep your head on a swivel. Don't live in fear. But like,
don't live in fear, but you need a healthy dose of it because you got to understand what's out there. I mean, William and I talked about this very same thing Friday night. You know, dealing with the mimics. You have to understand there are things out there that is out to get you. You know, and yes, we want to talk about divine protection and stuff like that, but Yahuwah gave us the gift of free will. We choose to go out there and look at these things. So it's if something happens to us, it's our choice to go out there and do it, you know. All we can hope is that, you know, after we become a steamy pile of turds on the first floor, we go up to heaven, you know, or my case, Valhalla. But, you know, I'm going to go out screaming. But I mean, that's our choice.
There's going to be a pile of brass right there wherever we went out, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go out screaming like the way I was born, baby. I'm going to Valhalla.
So, at least you're going to know where we went out, where we left the world at that moment, right there. Yeah. There will be shell casings.
There's things out there that is not evil, but there is things out there that are evil. You cannot have good without bad. You cannot have bad without good. You always have to have yin and yang, good versus evil. So you have to, when you go out in these woods, you have to understand that. And I will be the first one to tell you, if you should not keep your ass out of them woods. You need to go in them woods.
Yes.
Just go in there with knowledge, go in there with respect, and a healthy dose of fear.
A healthy dose of fear. Yeah, I say don't have fear, but don't be stupid, y'all. Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't be stupid. Just I don't ever go out by yourself at night when it comes to like being out in the woods and stuff too. I mean, I say that from experience.
Don't be
yeah. don't do what Eric does. Don't do what Eric does. Don't be Eric.
Don't get ran out of an investigation because something's hunting your ass.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That was definitely a brown pants moment.
Oh my gosh, I bet. Bigfoot Dwarf says most likely underfunded. That's another good point too. Where this, sorry, there's much. So where this happened with my friend, it was actually in a very small town, a small community actually, and so it was. They weren't used to this kind of stuff, okay, and they weren't prepared for a investigation of that magnitude, I think. And therefore they had me digging around for bones and stuff in the rubble.
Yeah.
Okay. But nonetheless, it happened. So, okay. So, but nonetheless, my dog just started whining. So that's my cue. Okay. This has been a really interesting show tonight. Okay. Very interesting. And I hope maybe this could help some people, okay, and just to be aware of things that have happened, things you may have seen in the news, and it's really cool to be able to just kind of pick through it a little bit. Okay, hold on a second.
You're fine.
Okay, I was going to tell my son to go let her blow the horn again. Okay, in the truck.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, but it's just. Be aware, y'all. Be aware. People do get attacked by packs of wild dogs, and it's important for us also to have gone over the information about like what would trigger a pack of wild dogs to attack somebody. It's not normal. That's not normal. So maybe we should question the narrative. when those kind of stories are put out in the news. Okay, so this has been awesome of a show, and rest in peace to everyone who we mentioned tonight, and my condolences go out to all the families of all the lives that have been lost over these tragedies out there, and yeah, it's not easy to talk about, but I think it's important that we do recognize all of this.
Exactly.
So yeah. Well, Eric, thank you so much for being here. What do you have going on? And why don't you tell the audience about your books and your YouTube channel? And you got a big show coming up tomorrow night, right?
Oh yeah. So I got a lot going on. I just released my is that my 7th or 8th book now, called Beast of the Ozarks: First Kill, which takes place in modern day Southwest Missouri. And I wrote this book on a different aspect. It's not a typical cryptid horror book. This one here, one of the hints I'll give you is you actually read the book from the mind of the creature itself, what it's thinking, why it's doing what it's doing, its whole process, everything. It was a different way to write a cryptid horror, but you jump back and forth between both the main characters and the creature itself. So it was a fun book to write. It's getting produced to be out on audio here soon, but it is available on Kindle, paperback, and hardback, along with all my others. So I've got that going on. I haven't had time to do a whole lot of writing here lately. We've had a bunch of tornadoes that came through Southwest Missouri, and with my job, I've been busy cleaning up after that. Now we got some more severe storms coming in, so I'm like, great, just got caught up now. So I've been busy. Tomorrow, so Saturdays at 5:00 Central Standard Time, I have what's called Campfire Chats with Eric and guests, and that's a safe place for you to come on and share your encounters. We love your encounters, and that show was created by the subscribers. This is a subscriber show. And then Sundays at 6:00 Central Standard Time is what I have my regular, The Bizarre and the Unknown, which tomorrow I'm going to have Robbie Jed Rains and E.D. Roberts on with me. Or E.D. Roberts, by God, D.A. Roberts, sorry. Brain farted that one. D.A. Roberts on with me. And we're going to be we're going to continue on with the sea creature theme. So the past couple of weeks, I've been talking about all these sailor myths and stuff I've seen being out on the ocean in the military. And we're going to continue it on with sharks. We're going to be talking about known sharks, unknown sharks, and possibly human shark hybrids, which a lot of that stems from World War II. So we're going to be talking about that stuff tomorrow. On
do you say human shark hybrids? What?
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
So that is one of the things that Nazi Germany was working on during World War II, was combining the DNA gene splicing of sharks and humans to create a human shark hybrid as a war tactic. So we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit.
What? I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all, but that's so weird. That's really weird.
Yeah.
Oh.
They were trying to create a lot of stuff. My Vangerian Guard Book 1, House of Battle, which takes place during World War II, was based off of the German werewolves and the Allied stories, and even some of the German stories of these German werewolves that transform and attack people. Well, this is just a continuing on of the multiple different things that these Germans were working on during that time. Like the next one's going to be called Horns of Death, most likely. And that's going to be off of them trying to create modern day Minotaur. Well, I mean, the shark people is going to be in there too. I mean, it's going to be covering all that stuff that used to come out of the projects that the Germans were working on during World War II.
Wow. There's so many different types of human animal hybrids that came out of the World War I and World War II eras. One of my favorites is the Billy Whack monster out of Southern California. And for the Billy Whack Dairy, y'all got to look. Everybody look that up. I did a show on it a while back. Eric, you might have done that show with me. I can't remember.
Yeah, we did, because I was talking to you guys. As you ever thought that stopped you wrong when the Germans surrendered, they didn't stay there. They came here. They went to Ukraine, they went to Argentina, and they came here. So this stuff was picked up from there right back here. We're doing it now.
Oh, man.
So,
That's wild. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I will definitely be tuning in tomorrow to see you and DA and Robbie. We just had Robbie on the show about a couple days ago. So yeah.
Well, I definitely want him on because he's a shark guy. Robbie's a shark guy. So I was like, yeah, I definitely need Robbie on this.
Yeah, he had a shark tooth he kept showing us. He showed us the shark tooth on Thursday night. Yeah, so that's awesome.
Yeah. That's a shark tooth right there. Oops, let me see if I can get that turned right.
Very nice. Very nice. Yes, your good shark tooth.
Yeah, I like it. Cool. Because I spent some time in Hawaii, and I've done scuba diving all over. It's all been ocean. I've never done a freshwater dive yet. I'm going to, and I plan on doing a paranormal investigation while doing it because there's a lot of paranormal activity that happens in these man-made lakes. So I've got GoPros that I can take underwater with me that can record sound and everything. So I'm going to be taking that with me when I go and do these dives. But eventually I will be doing some freshwater dives.
Ooh, you should come down to Georgia and go dive at Lake Lanier. By the way, to the audience, I just want y'all to know the Lake Lanier claimed another life today or yesterday.
Oh, no.
It did. There are more people that drown in Lake Lanier. There's actually, this is so sad. There was a father of 5. I believe it was a father of 5. And he got his kayak out and he went into a special little cove that he usually goes to, not Cocktail Cove. Okay, I talked about that party place. But it was some cove at Lake Lanier. And I think they found his kayak and found his car out there and they couldn't find him. I think they recovered his body today out of Lake Lanier. And I swear, Eric, more people go missing out of that lake and drown every year in their boating accidents because there's whole communities underneath that lake that they drowned it out.
Mm-hmm.
So
it makes you wonder if it ain't cursed. I mean, that's
it's totally
automatically cursed. I was starting to think cursed right when you was talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense. I mean, Table Rock Lake is a man-made lake. There's a couple towns underneath it, and I guarantee you they didn't remove all the cemeteries, and I guarantee you there's cemeteries under Table Rock Lake. And Table Rock Lake is steeped in cryptid and paranormal stuff. I mean, you got Bigfoot, Dogman, Ozark Howler, paranormal, supernatural stuff. And you got to think of the Fae magic that's involved because it's in the Ozark Mountains. Ozark Mountains is the oldest mountain range in the world. It's just been eroded down. That magic never left. That magic is still here. So when you're dealing with that type of stuff and you're talking about that encounter there at that lake, I mean, I can cold-heartedly believe that's a good possibility of what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. And Sovereign says, people think it's a joke. Some of these beings yank on legs in the water. Thank you for letting us know that right before summertime, Sovereign. But you're 100%
I've actually
right.
let that happen. That has happened to me at Table Rock. Yeah.
Something grabbed your leg? I've been nibbled on before, but I've never been grabbed.
I'm talking about I felt a hand.
You did?
My leg. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
I felt that kind of yanked. I was like, what the hell? And I'm looking, and I'll go underwater and look, try to figure out, and there was nothing there. But I literally felt the hand that grabbed my calf. It was my left calf and yanked.
Oh, geez. Yeah, I would never go back there. What you said, Table Rock Lake?
Yeah.
I'll never go there. I will never.
I swim there all the time. I love it. I fish and swim. I love it.
Oh my God. Hey, Johnny. This is Johnny from Madoc Bigfoot. What's up? He was at the Myrtle Beast Festival. It's good to see you here. Thank you for being here, Johnny. And anytime I do a show on things like the kappas out of Japan and any kind of water monsters, even the mermaids, I have a hard time getting in the lakes now. My sister has a place on a lake. Yeah. Well, Lake Lanier, they say, is the consistency of Jell-O. And I'll never forget that when I did a show with my friend Bryce a couple weeks ago on that. I was like, that makes sense. Because I used to swim in Lake Lanier all the time. And but I've also located dead bodies there from like remote viewing and stuff, missing people. And their bodies did surface there. One of them did. And so it just makes me think of all the dead bodies in there and stuff that make it Jell-O, and all the sewage too. Probably, I don't know. Lakes shouldn't be dirty like that, but some of them are. So, but it is cursed. That is a big part of Lake Lanier. It's cursed. And
I
there's been movies
so.
about it.
The way you're talking, that screen cursed me.
Yeah, it's cursed For sure. Yeah, you think like Sovereign said, you think some people. I no, actually, my friend Bryce said this. Sovereign said that too, but my friend Bryce was like, you'd think people would kind of learn. Like you got to be careful if you go late linear. Okay, but see, we all think like it'll never happen to us. Maybe we should kind of change our mode of thinking there, because things can happen to us.
It's not a question if it would happen to us. Honestly, it's like I said earlier. It's a question, when will it happen to us? You keep flirting with the devil, eventually the devil fights back. I mean, that's just the truth of it. And we all know this when we go out in the woods.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Kent says that he's heard that there's a pyramid under the Hoover Dam.
Yep. There's a lot of pyramids in man-made lakes. Yeah. Even here in Missouri. Yeah.
Oh, well, we've got Pyramid Lake out in Nevada, and we've got that ancient Egyptian temple in Lake Norris. So, yeah, it's time for us to uncover it all. So we need to start making a map.
Yeah, there's Egyptian burial site in the Grand Canyon. There's pyramids all over this world. I mean, even the U.S. People don't understand that. There is pyramids throughout the United States. They're everywhere. So,
oh yeah,
some of them look like the Egyptians, some look like Mesoamerican. It's a combination of both.
Oh my gosh, Joe said he grabs legs. Watch out. Don't go swimming with Joe. He's one of those guys that'll grab your legs and your feet while you're swimming. Oh, that's horrible. Wear your floaties. Always wear a life jacket, y'all. That's a big thing. Wear a life preserver when you're in the lakes. And be sure to wear bright colored clothing. Please don't wear camo. Don't wear stuff where they can't find you. I know this sounds morbid, but like if you do go missing and if you do drown, you need to be able to be found. So wear some neon yellow or orange or green. Seriously. Am I right or am I right?
That's what I'm sadly is I literally don't do anything that you just said.
I'm always everything that I've asked the audience to do, Eric does the opposite. Like going out.
I was like, crap.
You're like the antithesis of like safety.
I'm a Marine, man. I love water.
Oh my gosh. Do as I say, not as Eric does. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Don't listen to the fluffy guy. Come on.
Oh my gosh, man, this
is
wearing
swimming trunks right now. They're flat.
Oh my God, Candy, that's right. The Army Corps of Engineers actually did have a little something to do with all these man-made lakes, and that is a big part of it. Even with Lake Norris, I remember reading that the historical societies, the universities, they all had a part in all of this. You know, they went and excavated some of these pyramids and these mounds before I think they said 23 or more of those mounds were excavated before they put the lake on top of it up in Tennessee at Lake Norris. That's a lot. But the Army Corps of Engineers, yes, they're also the ones that will come in on your private land and tell you that something's wrong with your lake or your dam. And they may try to take your land from you. Ask me how I know. I don't think they try to take our land. I think that they made it really hard for my family to sell the land, I think. Because I think they wanted to buy it. Okay, but anyways, that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story.
That's a whole nother rap for a whole nother time.
That's exactly right. Okay, this is for entertainment purposes only. I have not stated that tonight, but now I will.
Probably need to.
All of this is for entertainment purposes only. It's just all for fun. Okay.
Next year.
Right.
But no, we got a lot of good stuff going on. I've finally got the reveal for the paranormal investigation. I've done the reveal with the client at the Springfield Commercial Club, and so I've got to get my button gear and get that stitched together. So part 2 of the paranormal investigation of the Springfield Commercial Club in Springfield, Missouri, should be coming out soon if I can get some free time. Okay. And that's my biggest issues. I've just been so dang tired from working my butt off that I have not done a whole lot of anything.
Oh man, well you're just busy. You're busy. I noticed I didn't talk to you for about a week or so, and so I knew you were busy. I've been busy too. I've been out of town and trying to nurse myself back to health after last weekend. I got a little under the weather after traveling all the way to Myrtle Beach And I never, you know what the funny thing is? I never saw the beach. I never saw the ocean. I never saw any of it.
I ain't
That was
never
such a
been to
tragedy.
Florida.
It was South Carolina. It was tragic. Yes, but it's all good.
Beach. Yeah, I ain't been there either. I don't think if I do, I don't remember. I was probably a little glass or two into something I probably shouldn't have been if I did. So,
oh man,
yeah.
That's funny. It was cool. It was actually biker week. It was like Myrtle Beach Bike Week or something like that. Yeah, you would have had fun up there. You got a bike. You're in one of them motorcycle clubs.
Yeah, I may or may not partake in a two-wheel activity going down the road and feeling the freedom through my what few hairs I have left. Now, I do need to get down to Georgia sometime because there is a lot of cryptid and paranormal activity, supernatural activity around Fort Benning, Georgia when I was stationed down there. And I'm really wanting to kind of get away from the military aspect of that and more into the investigative aspect of that.
Oh, crap.
And
sorry. My computer's about to die.
Oh, no.
Hold on. Sorry. It's always something.
Earthquake. It's all good.
Okay. There we go.
But yeah, I'm hoping because I'm set up to retire here in 9 years. If the economy don't take worse than it is, I'm going to be retiring at 55. And I'm hoping to have the channel built and everything else built and equipment built so that I can go from retirement straight into full-time investigating. Was what I'm wanting to do. And when I retire, I'll have 5 retirements. So I should be set up where I can start doing certain things, but I need to get down there to Fort Benning, Georgia. I want to hit Fort Riley back up again because I can tell you there's a lot of high strangeness at Fort Riley, Kansas, too. A crap ton up there. Oh, my God. Yeah, there's a reason why I don't fish the ponds along the tank trails in Fort Riley, Kansas anymore at night. I just won't do it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I know some spots in Georgia, especially down there near Fort Benning. So you just hit me up when you're ready to come down here. I'll take you. I'll take you to some places.
Heck yeah, man. If I can, this is if I remember right, it's a 17.5-hour drive from where I am at to Fort Benning, Georgia. I used to drive it every now and then.
That's a long drive. I had a 9-hour drive coming back from Myrtle Beach, which should have been a little over 6 hours, almost 7. It sucked. It sucked really bad. But
I made the mistake one time. Thought I was going to shave 2 hours off my drive time by driving through Atlanta, Georgia. Never.
You mean you added 4 hours to your drive?
Oh, I will never do that mistake ever again. That was
Eric, I bypass Atlanta as many times as I can. Yeah, I used to live in downtown Atlanta for 20 years, and the traffic is just terrible. Actually, my car gets knocked out of alignment every time I drive through Atlanta. What's up with the roads, y'all? I'm sorry. What's wrong? Who's in charge of the roads? Who? We used to have a pothole patrol when I lived in Atlanta. I remember that. I think it was like Mayor Shirley Franklin came up with a pothole patrol. You can just call in if there's a pothole. They go fix it. Today they're like, screw it. You got potholes, you go, who cares? There's so many potholes.
Yeah, Candy. Yeah, Candy, you're right. Really Fort Riley is very weird. Yeah.
All the military bases have a lot of cryptid activity.
They do. I got hurt in the Marines and I couldn't stay in the infantry no more. So I went to the Army as a pogue. And a little bit back. I've done 13 years, 4 deployments, and 2 ex-wives later. I hung my boots up.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm sorry.
Honestly, it's the truth. When deployments happened, the divorce rate in the military went up to 75.3%. I was part of that 75.3% both times. Once in the Marines, once in the Army. So when I got hurt, it's sad. When I got hurt, I went to the Army as a pogue. And because I was like,
is that a PO?
Yeah, pogue, personnel other than grunt. POG.
Okay,
pogue,
I don't know what that means. Oh, pogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to the Army as a pogue, and I never could get away from whirlybirds. I mean, I went from jumping out of whirlybirds into LZs to flying big rockets and stuff around Iraq and in the Army. But Yeah, I never got away from early birds, but it's I got to experience a couple things, and I'm definitely going to hit them places up because man, I've seen some weird crap. I've had weird stuff happen to me on the Marine Corps base, Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii. I've had weird stuff happen to me at Fort Benning, Georgia. I've had weird stuff happen to me at Fort Riley, Kansas. I've had weird stuff happen to me at Camp Hansen in Okinawa, Mount Fuji, Japan, JW, Jungle Warfare Training Center, Okinawa.
Dang.
Australia, Guam. The list goes on of all these places I've been to that I've had tons of high strangeness activity.
Do you mean
The
like
most
paranormal?
Paranormal, supernatural, and cryptid. So the first time I ever got introduced to Yowie, I was in Shellwater Bay training area in Brisbane, Australia. And we was out there on Shellwater Bay doing a training exercise, and there was this old home there. And the Aussies were going, hey, that family got massacred by the Aborigines here, and this place is very haunted. I said, well, that's right up my alley. So I started to walk into this home, and I put my first foot on that step. The first step I put my foot on, I heard some kind of weird growl coming from inside that home. And I backed up and was like, what the hell's this? And the Aussies go, oh, shit, man, that's a Yowie. And I'm like, what the hell's a Yowie? And they told me, I said, oh, that's a Bigfoot. And that was my very first experience with a Yowie. It was in Brisbane, Australia, with Shellwater Bay Training Area, Brisbane, Australia.
Man, that's wonderful. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. I was there for Operation Tandem Thrust 2001. It was a training exercise we did with the Aussies. So
nice. That's pretty awesome. You're a worldwide cryptid researcher. Well, you weren't researching back then, but experiencer.
Experiencer, yeah. I'm hopefully I'll be able to travel these areas because Japan, when it comes to supernatural activity, Japan is just packed with supernatural activity. And Japan has got a crap ton of supernatural activity in it. Hawaii, paranormal wise, that is probably the most haunted place I've ever been in this world was Hawaii. Hawaii has got paranormal activity there is through the roof.
I heard you talk about that on your show today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've seen the marching. Have you ever seen the marching men out there?
The night marchers, yeah.
The night marchers, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah. You don't look at them. When they come, when you see that trail of torches coming down that mountain, if you don't have time to get away and they're too close, you lay on the ground and you look at the ground and you don't move. You act like you're dead. If you look at them, they are a paranormal entity that will unalive you. So you do not look at them.
Oh my gosh. So tonight we've learned that if you see the night marchers, play dead. If you see a coyote or a wolf, don't play dead.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever we were talking about earlier. I think it was wild dogs, or do not play dead because they'll eat you. They like to eat dead people. Okay. So yes, we're at least learning something tonight. Y'all take notes.
So.
Man, that's actually pretty scary. I mean, how would they unalive you if they saw you?
So the night marchers were the elite guards of the kings of kings and queens of Hawaii. The kings and queens of Hawaii were known as gods or goddesses in the flesh. So they were actually human formed god or goddesses. And so their job was to protect them. And if a normal citizen looked upon them, the punishment is automatic, on the spot beheading.
Ooh.
No one was allowed to look upon them besides the king or queen.
Ooh.
And they still patrol the island. Yeah.
Okay. Note to self.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So they still patrol the islands to this day. And if you look upon them, and now some stories will tell you that if you're related to them, that if you're related to the night marcher you look upon, that he might be able to advocate to save your life. Most of the stories, they'll tell you that you don't look at him, period, because you're unalived. Either way, even if he loses his partition to save your life, and they say no, he still got to go. This is a paranormal entity that will unalive you. This is the only account of a paranormal entity that I've found out of all my researches around the world that can actually physically kill you.
Where do they come from and where do they go? Are they coming from like the volcanoes or a mountain, inner earth?
So I can't remember what the mountain name is. It's along H3 outside of Kaneohe Bay. And I was looking up on that mountain, which I've humped that mountain many a times. I mean, it's a beautiful hike in there. You're above the clouds, in with the clouds. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful hike. And I happened to be down with a local who was with us in my marine unit. And I looked up and I seen a trail look like torches coming down. Well, I was in good with the locals. I was one of the few Hallies that was good with the locals. So I got to experience things that other Hallies didn't get to experience. So I was like, "Oh, dude!" I said, "Hey, bro, is that a luau that I don't know about, man? If that's popping, let's go." I said, "I want to go." He goes, "No, bro, that'd be no luau. That'd be night marchers. Don't look. Go away. Don't look." I was like, "What?" And so he told me the story of him. He goes, "Yeah, we don't want to go there." He was very adamant about that.
Okay, well, listen to the locals. That is really, that's wild. Well, thank goodness he was there to warn you about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because I would have pulled a Robbie in a heartbeat. Hey, all right, let's go.
Go chase after it.
Hey, guys, I'm not related.
Yeah.
Because I got to experience luau's and pig roast that normal Hallies don't get to do that you do in the tourism spots. I got to experience that stuff. I've got to do a lot of things with the locals that normal Hallies didn't do. So, I mean, I loved it. I was very, very in love with their culture. There's so much magic and beauty and everything dealing with the Samoa culture. It's just, it's beautiful. You just don't piss them off.
Yeah. So oh my gosh.
Don't piss them off.
I think the hula is amazing. I love the hula. I like it, especially when the men do it. I think it's kind of cool. I'm just saying, it's pretty cool. I would go there. My son just had a Hawaiian week at school, like tropical week and stuff. So every day he had to dress up, and I was like, oh, thank God the Dollar. I brought up the Dollar Tree twice this week because Thursday night we're talking about how I was going to go to Bishopville on Sunday, and somebody drove their car and hit somebody. Plowed through the Dollar Tree in Bishopville, South Carolina. Oh. And the day I was supposed to be there, and I didn't go. It's all over TikTok. And today I just said Dollar Tree again. I guess I need to get a sponsorship at this point. Okay. But they had like Hawaiian lays and stuff, and the coconut bras. You can go get your coconut bra at Dollar Tree right now, y'all. Okay. Yeah. For $1.25. Yeah.
You know what a lay is, don't you?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what the significance is, but I know what they are, of course. I bought several for my son to wear to school this week. They like the green ones with like the leaves on them and stuff so I got him the masculine looking ones. But
so
no, what is the significance?
Each one has its own little type of significance, but it's a greeting, it's a welcoming, it's like a kiss.
A kiss.
So you've been kissed.
That's awesome.
So
okay,
it's a welcoming thing to you. It's a peace. It's a loving. It's meant in good ties. Sadly, it's been commercialized, but have the loco moco.
Oh
God, that sounds so familiar.
Loco moco. Is that a drink? What is that? Robin says never headbutt a Samoan. Listen, I had some Samoan friends that played rugby with us. Okay, and like some of the biggest, best rugby players are Samoan, by the way. Okay,
dude, them Samoans are big tanks in the flesh. Dude,
yeah, they make great rugby players.
Have concrete beat somebody with it.
Oh yeah, listen, we used to. It was wild. We had some Samoan guys that played rugby with us. Not on my teams. There were guys. I played on a women's team. We used to scrimmage with the guys, but they're rough. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Like I said earlier, I don't know how I'm still alive today.
Dude,
that's part of my life right there. I'm not sure how I survived all that when I played rugby.
They do their hog roast. They wrap their hogs in banana leaves, and oh my God, it is just.
It's good.
It's great.
But
yeah, no, it's
go to a luau.
And they like their Maui. They like their Pakalolo. They like their pakalolo. So you don't mess with their pakalolo. Pakalolo is what we call wacky tobacco.
Wacky tobacco.
It'd be a good
devil's
YouTube
cabbage.
term for it.
That's what Joe calls it.
Yeah. And one of the songs they play
It's a
over and
Cindy
over and
Sin
over in
though.
Hawaii is Who's the Lolo who stole my pakalolo? I had it here just the other day.
Oh
That
gosh.
song plays over.
I did not know what that was. Now I know.
Yeah. There you go, dwarf. Yeah, pakalolo. Yeah, you don't take their pakalolo, which they got. Not that I would know, but they have, from what I've been told, some very good pakalolo. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh man, Moondog Davis actually lives in Hawaii. Says I live next to Sacred Falls, seen all kinds of crazy stuff. 6 years now, Honolulu.
Yeah. Honolulu,
awesome.
man, that place is Honolulu.
I think it's time for us to visit Moondog Davis. We're gonna come see you.
Especially with World War II soldiers, but there is a ton.
Pearl Harbor, right?
Yeah, there is a ton of paranormal activity in Honolulu.
Really?
Yeah, and you go down Licky Licky, you go down to Waikiki Beach. It's spelt like, but in Hawaiian it's Licky Licky.
Is that?
So
That's the name of the place.
What's the name of the road? So you take Licky Licky, go to Waikiki Beach, which is a place I recommend going to see. Go see Waikiki Beach. It's beautiful. But then you go up the road and you go to Honolulu, and my God, you want to see a full body apparition, you're probably going to see it in Hawaii. That is how active it is in Hawaii.
Drift Speed says, "Lady I knew said you could watch the fairies in Hawaii all day."
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot in the little people of Hawaii. They're amazing little creatures too, and they're builders. They're stonemasons. The little people are stonemasons. They used to build the stone structures for the kings of Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing. I wonder if there's like an entrance to Inner Earth right there. I wonder.
So
those volcanoes.
Apparently there is in one of the dormant volcanoes. I believe it is actually the one on Oahu, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if it's Kauai or Oahu. One of them supposedly has an entrance to Inner Earth.
Okay. Paco Loco, don't mess with Granny's tears. I can't even say this.
Pakalolo. Pakalolo doesn't reference. Yeah.
And Angelique says they pronounce every syllable, every syllable. They do. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Hey, bro, you come here with me, bro. You know, hey, bro, don't mess with him. He be my cuz, bro. I mean, that's how they talk. I loved it. It's beautiful.
Good bit.
Haunted America, yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go back to Hawaii. For me, living there sucked because it's so freaking expensive. I mean, it's so expensive. I was there in the early 2000s, and a studio apartment back here was like $250 a month. A studio apartment back then in Hawaii was $700 a month. Gas was always god awful high.
Yeah, well, you're on an island, and it's luxurious, right? It's supposed to be. I don't know. The most I know, I've never been to Hawaii, but I sure did watch Dog the Bounty Hunter quite a bit when I was younger. Wasn't Dog based off of Hawaii? I think so.
Yeah, he was at a Hawaiian.
He didn't give that place a good reputation, though, because then you started seeing all the crime that happened there.
Yeah. So Waianae, back when I was there, Waianae was just like it was put on Dog the Bounty Hunter. I mean, I used to do carpentry work, home demolitions in Waianae. I worked with a man that bought homes in Waianae, and I'd go through and demolition them, and he'd go through and rebuild them and remodel them. You literally, when you drove through Waianae, the windows were up, the doors were locked. You didn't do it any other way. You'd go out on the beach and you'd find engines laying all over the beach of Waianae. Yeah, it was Crystal was bad in Waianae back then. I don't know if it still is, but it was back then.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Jojo says it's only an 8-hour flight to Hawaii from Australia. I didn't know you were in Australia.
Yeah. Oh, Joji. Ozzy, God, yes. God, I want to go back to Australia.
Yeah, that's not a very. It's way farther. I'm all the way in Georgia, so it would take me. I'd have to do layovers in LA, I guess, and then fly out there. But anyways, baby, it's on my list. I'd like to go to Hawaii one day.
I'm definitely going to go back to Australia. Out of all the places in the world I've ever visited, Hawaii was Australia was my favorite. I loved Australia.
I froze there for a minute. Am I back? Can y'all see me?
You're back.
Okay, I froze. It ain't a show if I ain't got a glitch. Okay, a dog whine, a bark, or a glitch. Okay, it's got to be one of those, or else it's just not right. It's just not my signature. Okay.
Yeah. But actually, I got my first tattoo from Brisbane, Australia.
Nice.
And I went to a 4-story casino there with basically like an Aussie equivalent of a quarter, and walked out with $80 off of that. But I got my very first tattoo in Brisbane, Australia.
Very cool.
I used to drink a lot of VB, and they used to get a kick at me at the clubs, like Club New York and stuff like that in Brisbane, because I drank from a pitcher. My mug wasn't a mug. My mug was a pitcher, and I was drinking pitchers of VB, like pounding pitchers of VB. And then bartenders used to ring them bells like, this yank can drink, you know. So I was partying up with Aussies all the time.
I bet you were pretty cool to hang with back in the day. You crazy self.
You got a country ass yank over in Aussie land. It was fun. I can't go into a lot of details, but let's just say, American military man in Australia, it was very lively.
I bet.
It was fun. I loved Australia. I want to go back, but I want to go back for invest. I want to check out the Yowies. The Aborigine customs and beliefs and traditions and ways of life is very beautiful. The Aboriginal way of life over there is it's beautiful on how they think and how they believe and how they do things. And I want to go back and experience more of that. VB, dude, I drank tons of VB when I was there. VB is Victoria Bitter. So when I made a mistake, and that's back when I used to drink Budweiser. Budweiser is very expensive in Australia and has a very weird taste to it. So I drank 4X, 3X, 2X beer and VB. That's pretty much what I drank when I was in Australia, besides Australian rum. So that was my drinks. It was 4X, 3X, 2X, and VB. And that's what I do. I drank a crap ton of it. But VB was the closest thing I could get to Budweiser. So I was literally drinking pitchers upon pitchers of VB and drinking all these other weird drinks, and then Australian rum, which Australian rum goes down smooth as silk, but once it hits that stomach, it kapows that stomach. It hits hard. But I used to chase Australian rum with 4X beer. That's what I'd chase it. Man, them Aussies like, what the hell?
No wonder you were having all sorts of weird paranormal stuff happen to you.
Yeah. But I want to go back because there's a lot of stuff I want to see and do. I mean, it's Australia. If anybody wants to visit a beautiful, beautiful country with a lot of cultures, yeah. Yeah, he definitely tasted our beer. Yeah. But I recommend going to Australia. There's just not only is the land beautiful, the people are amazing. The culture's amazing, even though they're a bunch of criminals from England. The culture's amazing. And the Aborigines are awesome, you know.
Well, that kind of happened in the U.S. too. We had a bunch of prisoners from England, right? People that got sent over here. That's how this country got started.
Christian non-Catholic believers started in America. Yeah. They were chastised for not following the Catholic way. Yep.
All the rebels got sent over here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. To Georgia, actually, where I live. They got sent. We were like a prison place. Okay, so yeah, we know all about
Aussie. Aussie was a British prison colony, is what Aussie was. Mm-hmm. So they would take prisoners and drop them off in Australia, and you either lived or you didn't.
The penal colony, I think, is what they call that, right? Georgia was a penal colony.
Yeah. Jojo, I got called by a convict by an Aboriginal last week. I was shocked. I can tell you what, though, another good thing about Australia, some of the best tasting steak I ever ate in my life was in Australia. I mean, oh my God, that so freaking moist and flavor. Just
Oh man, so we need to all visit. Jojo, we're coming to visit, okay? We're gonna come visit you and we're gonna have some steak.
Happen.
And we're gonna drink. Oh no,
God,
don't break your hat.
Getting caught up on something aggravating me, so it broke. It's okay, I'll fix it.
You have to fix that class. Well, that's our sign. That's our sign. It's getting late. We're having too much fun. Things are breaking. It happens. My dog's snoring now. She's gone through all the stages. She whined, she barked, and now she's snoring. Okay.
I got one sleeping and farting underneath me. I mean, my God, he's foul.
Typical day in the life. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. But,
there's several places. It is. Yeah. There's several places I recommend people to go. So I mean, Georgia's got a lot of it. Hawaii, Australia, the list goes on. Anywhere you go in this world, you're going to find paranormal, supernatural, cryptid, or mythological activity. Jessica's got a lot of it down in her area. There's a lot of it up here too. So, and these stories that we talked about today of these encounters, believe it or not, that happens all over. It really does. We just hit a few, but just keep your parrot dog. Yeah, parrot dog's asleep on his pillow. But got to go. You don't want to pet no roo. No, you don't want to pet no roo. No.
I've always said I think kangaroos look like deers that have been to prison.
Yeah, dude, a roo will jack your ass up.
Deer face.
I watched a roo beat the tar out of an Aussie tanker. I mean, that roo just flat whooped that dude's butt. I mean, a roo is jacked.
Yeah, it's like WCW out there. I got to watch out for those kangaroos now.
Yeah, them roos, man, they ain't nothing to play with. They jack your world up.
Oh my gosh.
You petted 100 roos.
Yeah, there was an escaped kangaroo out in South Carolina about a week or two ago. So y'all keep your eyes out. We got to watch out for these dogmen, Bigfoots, and kangaroos out here, especially down here in the South. Yeah. So yeah, keep your head on a swivel, everybody. And thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Y'all are the best. Thank everybody for sticking with us through the whole show tonight. We had a great show tonight, Eric. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
I appreciate it. No, we always have fun when you come on. And even though we're talking about some heavy stuff tonight, we're definitely talking about some heavy stuff. I mean, there's never a shortage of, incidents and articles and encounters with, unspecified animals and things like that. So as we compile them, we'll be reporting them to you guys. Everybody here, just stay tuned. I know I hadn't done an unspecified animal attack show in a while, so it was time. I had gotten a couple more. And Eric, you had that one too, right? Out of Missouri, you're talking about I think you said the Great Danes, they said had attacked somebody, and it's like a pack of Great Danes or something. Right.
Bull Mastiffs. They were attacking, supposedly, were the ones that was attacking and unaliving horses and bulls and cattle and sheep and goats and chickens and domestic, house dogs all along the Niagara River and H Highway. Which I'm sorry, Bull Mastiffs ain't going to do that. We thought it was cougar at the time. Cougar's not going to take out a bull. A cougar is not going to take out a bull. It's just not. Just the truth. The bull's too big, too mean, too aggressive, and will jack a cougar's that butt up. But the Niagara River has tons of Dogman and Sasquatch activity, and which I live along the Niagara River. And so, yeah, it's it makes you wonder what it actually was. Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. It does. It does. Well, the mystery lives on, and I have remote viewed several of these cases that we went over tonight, and you guys can find all those cases over in my remote viewing section of my playlist on YouTube. If you guys want to go through and find these, the Brenda Hamilton case is definitely one that I have remote viewed, and let's see where the other ones. I can't remember all of them. That's definitely one that I remote viewed. So y'all check that out. And I don't think that I remote viewed the Amazon driver one, but I did a show with D.A. Roberts actually came on the show a while back after that happened. And he and I talked about that one.
Yeah, I think you talked about it. I don't remember you remote viewing it, but I remember you talking about it.
Yeah, I did not remote view that one, but I did talk about it with DA. So, so if you guys want to see that, please check that out. It's going to be on a Glitch in the Matrix, probably. It was one of my daytime shows. So, but yeah. All right. Well, everybody, please have a wonderful night. Thank you guys for all the support tonight with the super stickers, Scott and Maureen and JoJo and Kent. Thank you guys so much for those super stickers. And I just want to thank everybody who's here. This is a member of my hunt club on the channel. And please go and support E.D. Testerman. Eric, go buy his books on Amazon, y'all. Did you want to talk about your books tonight? You didn't go through the list of your books. I don't recall you doing that tonight. Did you?
I did. Well, I went through a couple of the most recent ones. I mean, I've got I write historical fiction, cryptid horrors, historical fictions, which a lot of my historical fiction cryptid horrors started out with Saga Grimson, which is the Viking cryptid horrors. And then it's got a prequel series, which is the Vangerian Guard, which takes place during World War II. So that's a historical cryptid horror. And I've got regular historical fictions like the Dolphs, which is my Mountain Man series. The Viking Age, which is a Viking one. My sci-fi book is the Ahinyar, book one, Emergence, which basically it's a Viking style space sci-fi one. Which I'm actually started a new sci-fi book now, which is called Galactic Nights. I've got a couple chapters of it written. And then I've got, I'm trying to remember all my books I got out now. Beast of the Ozarks, which is just a straight cryptid horror, takes place modern day, Southwest Missouri. The places I talk about is real places, the restaurants, places that I've went and ate at. It's actual restaurants. You can go there. The stuff I ordered on the menu in the book is actual stuff that you can order off that menu in the restaurant. But that's called Beast of the Ozarks First Kill. And that is my latest one.
Very cool. Thank you, Eric. Oh my gosh. And he has a wonderful YouTube channel, you guys, The Bizarre and the Unknown. And please go check it out. What time are you guys going on tomorrow night, Eric? What time's your show?
Yeah, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
So that's 7 p.m. Eastern, my time. So you guys, please go hang out and go see Robbie. Robbie was on our show on Thursday, and then D.A. Roberts is going to be on there as well. And we'll be talking about Shark and Shark Man. I can't wait to hear about that, actually. I'm most interested in that.
I'm kind of jealous because DA got to it before I did. That was originally going to be my third book for the Vangerian Guard series. And I was like, oh, DA got to it before I did. But that's all right. I'm still going to do it because book 2 of Vangerian Guard is going to be about how they cross-gened a aurochs, which was a large bull back in Germany in the old days. They not only were trying to bring them back, but they were taking that stuff and putting them in humans, trying to create minotaurs. So book 2 of the Vangerian Guard, when I get around to writing it, is going to be based off of the minotaurs from Nazi Germany.
Oh my God. Like the Billy Whack monsters, the Goatmen out in Southern California. Same. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. Man, if we need to come up with like some lists of like all the different known experiments that they did back then with the human animal hybrids. We really do need to get like a good list together. Because there's
getting hard to find that stuff. It used to be you can find it all day long. But even a lot of these military journals that talked about them from the soldiers that was there, you can't even find them anymore. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure the Wayback Machine because I'm hoping it's on the Wayback Machine that site.
Well, even with the lizard man of Skateboard Swamp, I went through and I was looking for some specific pictures that I remember having a long time ago of like the police officers holding up evidence and stuff like that. I couldn't find it anywhere. It was like scrubbed from the internet. And I had actually archived it on my Patreon. So I had everything that I remembered that I was looking for. It was all on my Patreon, thank goodness. But I couldn't find it anywhere online. So, I don't know if that's on purpose or maybe I just couldn't find it. Maybe it's just so far back and I don't know.
I don't know what to do. It's done on purpose. Supposedly you can find this stuff again on Wayback Machine. So I'm trying to figure out how to use that site.
Oh, sorry. I thought I muted y'all. I'm so sorry. Just coughed in the microphone.
I was actually
Sovereign. Yes.
Before you came on, I was actually looking up German werewolves on the Library of Congress, and they were talking about the German werewolf in newspapers from 1942.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. I really would love for you to do some recon, actually, Sovereign. I think you got a YouTube channel too, Sovereign. You should definitely, I highly recommend going and doing some recon. And they've got, if you do urban exploring and stuff too, I'm just saying, they do have an underground lab there. I don't know if it's still there or not, but you should go. They had repurposed that place, I think, into like I don't know if it was a hotel or motel or a bed and breakfast. I don't know. They had repurposed that place over and over again because this was back in the 1920s when they were doing this. So go see what they got. Thank you. Yeah, go get some footage. Holler at me. I need to bring you on my show, Sovereign. You need to come on and fart hard. Okay. That would actually be kind of cool for sure. So, but anyways,
man's gonna be wild.
He's wild. He's a wild man for sure. But yeah, that would be really fantastic if you could go out there and do a little recon, scout it out, and report back to us. Okay. Well, everybody, y'all have a wonderful night. Eric, have a wonderful, fantastic night. I need to go get me some shut eye. Okay, and dream about Goatman and whatever. I've been having weird dreams lately, so. Go have some dreams. Dream my world into being, not with Goatman in it. Okay, but maybe Goatman, maybe the Billy White monster will come hang out with me tonight in my dreams. But okay, all right, Eric. Well, we'll see you tomorrow night. I'll be in your chat. I'm gonna swing by, most definitely. And you guys, y'all come back and see me. I'll be back on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Oh my gosh, I have so many things planned. I got a bunch of stuff going on, a lot of new projects we're about to be working on, and I will be here with bells on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 Central, live. All right, so everybody have a great night. Thank y'all so much for sticking around tonight, and stay safe out there. And
peace, love, and blessings, everyone.
Keep your vibrations high, as our friend Jane always says. And you guys keep your head on a swivel. Don't live in fear. I'm trying to find the buttons, and I'm obviously getting tired. All right, everybody. Have a great night. See you, Eric.